Stop. It's not allowed to continue arguing. Sengoku interrupted the two again. If you don't interrupt again, the two are going to fight. Garp immediately pulled Sakazuki. Okay, it's just a junior, there's no need to be angry with him, just pretend you don't know anything. Sakazuki didn't lose his temper in the end. Either way, Garp and Sengoku have to be saved. Sengoku gave Luo Cheng a look. Luo Cheng, what about 1 billion Baileys? It may be a little less, but it's a good deal. Oh, here it is. Luo Cheng took out 100,000 Baileys from his pocket. The money was the one he extorted from Beast's pirates, and he exchanged the rest. Sengoku looked at the stack of Baileys in Luo Cheng's hands and opened his mouth in surprise. The other Marines nearby also looked at each other. 1 billion Baileys, that's all that's left. Luo Cheng, didn't you say there are 1 billion Baileys? Why does it seem to be only about 100,000? Sengoku couldn't help but ask. He felt that he might have been tricked by Luo Cheng. Oh, that's because I had a fight with Kaido, and all the other money was gone, only the 100 million Baileys were left, and I got it easily. If you don't believe me, you can investigate. I did have a fight with Kaido, it was so intense that it was too late to get it. Sengoku ultimately said nothing. He still believes in Luo Cheng, although he loves money, he shouldn't be so pitiful. Okay, you go back and rest. I'll go back first. Luo Cheng deliberately passed by Sakazuki. Sakazuki stared straight at Luo Cheng. There was murder in his eyes, and he wanted to kill Luo Cheng, but Luo Cheng didn't care at all. If there is a fight, who will slaughter who may not be sure. At night, the marshal's office. There are only a few people here. Sengoku took a look and just got the information. It seems that we really underestimate Luo Cheng. Luo Cheng, what happened to him? Garp looked up and stopped eating the donut. Crane Vice Admiral is also very concerned about Luo Cheng, who is also her sister's favorite. It's just that she has some doubts now, should Luo Cheng and Gion be matched? After all, Luo Cheng and Sakazuki have conflicts, and they are particularly arrogant. This is the information I just got. Luo Cheng did catch the fire and Jack, and even had a fight with Kaido. The two fought for more than an hour, with no winner or loser, and finally Luo Cheng voluntarily retreated. Sengoku himself was a little disbelieving. Luo Cheng was so fierce that he could fight against Kaido, even fighting for more than an hour. Garp and Crane Vice Admiral were also surprised. They also did not expect Luo Cheng to be so powerful that he could already fight the 4 emperors, which is not something ordinary people can do. Looks like we still underestimate Luo Cheng. I was afraid that he would be defeated by Sakazuki. Garp started eating donuts again. When it comes to Sakazuki, Sengoku looks like a headache. These two people actually quarreled as soon as they met. I don't even know what to say. No way, Sakazuki's character is inherently bad, and Luo Cheng is a proud and arrogant person. The two of them will definitely not be able to get along peacefully. Crane Vice Admiral also felt a headache, but there was nothing he could do with these two people. But she has already planned to match Luo Cheng and Gion, because Luo Cheng's talent is too strong and has the ability to protect Gion. Forget it. The situation in North Blue has been a little complicated recently. I transferred Luo Cheng to North Blue, and I'll transfer him back after a while, so as not to have a fight these days. Sengoku covered his forehead helplessly. He didn't want to transfer Luo Cheng, but the atmosphere at Naval Headquarters has been mixed recently. Luo Cheng and Sakazuki would fight at any time. Might as well transfer one of them away. The next day, Luo Cheng received news that he was about to become the inspector of the entire North Blue, inspecting the entire North Blue, and everyone had to obey his orders. Luo Cheng was very happy. Although this is equivalent to exile for others, for him, it is a treasure land of feng shui. In charge of the entire North Blue, what a scenery. He can scavenge everywhere in North Blue, and he has to set a small goal as a man. For example, first earn him several hundred million, raise his thunder-breathing technique to the full level, and then upgrade his swordsmanship. Try to get it done within a year. When leaving, Sengoku looked at Luo Cheng, who was happy and thought he might be wrong. Even though he was exiled to North Blue, Luo Cheng was so happy that he must have missed it. Marshal Sengoku, I'll go first. By the way, when we get to North Blue, will the Marines there listen to me? Luo Cheng asked specifically. Indeed, your rank is the highest, and the Marines there will listen to you. Sengoku nodded. Not to mention Luo Cheng's rank, but to say Luo Cheng's strength, the Marines there also listen to Luo Cheng's words. Then I'll go first. Luo Cheng happily waved goodbye. Garp next to him opened his mouth. I remember Luo Cheng is an exile, right? Why is he so happy? Is there anything to be happy about? No. I don't know. Maybe he thought that the North Blue Inspector was a high-ranking position, but it doesn't matter, there is no need to struggle. Sengoku didn't think too much. On the other hand, Gion and Ain were a little unhappy, their faces puffed up. Luo Cheng was demoted, of course they were not happy. Even the two of them were complaining about Sakazuki in their hearts. For such a big man, he still advises others in general or Marine Admiral anyway. On the warship, Luo Cheng lay there, humming a little song, looking very happy. The nearby Marines looked at each other with some money. They also heard some gossip. Why is Luo Cheng so happy? Luo Cheng, Vice Admiral, would you like some tea? A Marine adjutant next to him said. Luo Cheng immediately sat up, picked up the table next to him, and pulled it to his side. Go and prepare some drinks for me, and by the way, prepare some barbecue meat for me. I'm hungry. Besides, you can also drink and rubbish. Thank you, sir. Marines are very happy. It seems that Luo Cheng is a good person to get along with. After more than a month of sailing like this, Luo Cheng finally arrived at North Blue. The whole North Blue is about to make huge waves. Before long, all North Blue kingdoms will be under the rule of Luo Cheng, constantly being oppressed by Luo Cheng. Of course, this was a long time ago. North Blue, the most powerful sea in the four seas. Compared with East Blue, the pirates here are particularly sturdy and powerful. Currently the entire North Blue is under Doflamingo's control, but a large part is also owned by Germa 66. It was just that the current Germa 66 was not as strong as before, and was severely suppressed by Doflamingo. If it wasn't for Doflamingo's fear of taking control of North Blue and fear of being jealous of the world government, perhaps Germa 66 would have been defeated by Doflamingo. On the North Blue Sea, a ship the size of an island moved. This is the site of Germa 66. It is a small island, pulled by many huge sea beasts and moving in the four seas. On the ship, Judge is training his sons and daughters, as well as his own soldiers, and he has always dreamed of defeating Doflamingo and reclaiming the supremacy of the North Blue. In the future, I even plan to join forces with Andy. Give me to continue training, only by becoming stronger can I dominate the entire North Blue. Judge drank loudly. Several of his sons and daughters were training hard, with sweat on their foreheads, but they didn't stop. They are very aware of the character of their father, who is very strict and must work hard, or they will definitely be punished. At the same time, the marine warship slowly approached. The warship is of course Luo Cheng's warship. On the warship, Marine was the first to spot each other. Sir, found a ship, the ship of Germa 66. Luo Cheng didn't care, but when he heard it was Germa 66, he became interested, opened his eyes slightly, and walked slowly to the edge of the warship. Let's go up and have a look. Yes. The marine warship immediately approached the front. On the opposite side, Germa 66 naturally found it. Lord Judge, Marine was spotted ahead. Judge frowned, then walked over to the ship and looked into the distance, seeing a warship slowly approaching. Look what they want to do. The ships on both sides gradually approached. Luo Cheng waited for the warship to approach, and immediately jumped to the side of Judge. Judge frowned, thinking in his heart, who is this Marine in front of him? Even though he is so young, he actually holds the rank of Vice Admiral. Several others were also looking at Luo Cheng. IG, Niji and Reiju. Luo Cheng glanced at Reiju, his eyes lit up. Unexpectedly Reiju is already very beautiful at a young age, and has a perfect figure, which can be described as choppy. Too scary, he will definitely be suffocated by Reiju. No, restrain yourself, you can't be too bad when you meet for the first time. Listen to me. From now on, the man will stand on the left, the woman will be on the right, and the she-male will stand in the middle. Today, I will rob money. Luo Cheng pulled out the Tiankong cloud sword and looked at the few people in front of him fiercely. The purpose of his coming to North Blue is to make money. It is best to control these countries and let them pay protection fees. Since the first person I encountered was Judge, I had no choice but to blame Judge for being unlucky and accidentally meeting him. Judge's face darkened. He was actually robbed, and it was Marine. It is really a tiger falling and Pingyang being bullied by a dog. Marine at the back was also embarrassed, they didn't expect Luo Cheng to rob. Anyway, it's a Marine, so I can't pay attention. This gentleman, you are Marine, and it seems a bit inappropriate to actually want to rob the world government allies. Judge's face was gloomy, his hands clenched into fists, making a clicking sound, suppressing his anger. If it wasn't for Luo Cheng being Marine Vice Admiral, he might have a higher status, and he would definitely take action against Luo Cheng. It is best to slap Luo Cheng to death. Forget it, then there will be no robbery. Luo Cheng took back the Tiankong Cloud Sword. Robbery is really not suitable, he is purely interested in Reiju, and by the way, he makes fun of Judge. So casual. Both Marine and Germa 66 were speechless. This is the first time I have seen such a casual person. Judge also knew that he had been tricked by Luo Cheng, and was very angry, gnashing his teeth, and his face was gloomy. Marine, you're not welcome here, leave me quickly, or don't blame me for being rude. Luo Cheng smiled suddenly, folded his arms around his chest, and had a sly smile on the corner of his mouth. Judge, I heard that you have contact with pirates, this time Naval Headquarters sent me here to investigate you. Judge is heartbroken. He did have contact with the pirates, but it didn't seem to be serious, but he didn't expect Marine to send a Vice Admiral to investigate him. Could it be? What's wrong? The Marines looked at each other, wondering if what Luo Cheng said was true. Maybe it was true. No wonder Luo Cheng, such a powerful Marine, came to North Blue to be the chief inspector, definitely to investigate the things behind these kingdoms. I don't know what you're talking about. I've never contacted the pirates. I'm a member of the world government, and I'm absolutely loyal to the world government. Judge said this without feeling ashamed. Anyway, Judge's sons and daughters looked strange. How could they be loyal to the world government? It is definitely not a good person to often attack other world government member countries. Luo Cheng's mouth also twitched. Does this guy take him for an idiot? Do you really think he doesn't know Judge? Judge is not a good person at all, and he often controls wars, and he doesn't look like someone who is loyal to the world government. Really? Then why did Sengoku ask me to investigate? But in fact, it doesn't matter if you do it or not, it's all up to me. The meaning of Luo Cheng's words is obvious. Judge naturally heard Luo Cheng's words. The Marine actually wanted to blackmail him. He was once the king of North Blue. But forget it, whoever made it worse than before, can't offend Marine, and it's inconvenient to attack Luo Cheng. Then what does this Captain Marine mean? Judge's tone was compromised. Luo Cheng was very happy, with a particularly bright smile. He likes people like this, and if everyone is as acquainted as Judge, then how wonderful his life will be. No need to do it anymore. The Marines all thought Luo Cheng was a little weird. Why did it look like Luo Cheng was blackmailing? If a Marine Vice Admiral went to blackmail others, no one would believe it. I mean obviously, I'm here to investigate you this time, so I'm going to check on your daughter. Luo Cheng smiled brightly. I'm going to check on your daughter. Everyone present was stunned. Neither Marine nor these soldiers expected Luo Cheng to say such a thing. The Marines didn't know what to say. As a Marine Vice Admiral, it's too obvious to have to check on someone else's daughter. The soldiers were also angry. Luo Cheng, the Marine, actually wanted to check Reiju. Although it is said to be an inspection, they are also very clear about the real meaning. After all, they are all men, and inspection is nothing more than doing some bad things. Judge was also particularly angry, gritted his teeth, clenched his hands into fists, and had blue veins on his forehead, showing how angry Judge was. Luo Cheng actually wanted to check on his daughter. What does it mean? Want to do that kind of thing? Reiju also secretly glanced at Luo Cheng. Her cheeks were slightly red. She was a girl after all. Of course she was shy when Luo Cheng said this. But don't say, Luo Cheng is quite handsome. Marine, you are so provocative of me. Do you really think I dare not do anything to you? Judge's tone was a little gloomy, and it was conceivable how much anger Judge felt in his heart. Luo Cheng was also very embarrassed, and accidentally said what was in his heart. He did want to check Reiju, however, it cannot be said that way. But since it has been said, it cannot be denied. Don't get me wrong, it's just that someone reported that your son and daughter have done a lot of bad things, so I'll investigate your daughter first and then investigate your son. Luo Cheng forcibly explained a wave. Death to me. Judge was furious, jumped to Luo Cheng's side in 3 or 2 steps, stretched out his huge palm, and grabbed Luo Cheng. Do you think I'd be afraid? Luo Cheng is not only not afraid, but a little excited. Judge can't even beat Doflamingo, let alone challenge him. He can only teach Judge well. Luo Cheng dodged easily. Judge slammed the palm of his hand, turned around quickly, and slammed Luo Cheng again. Please, can you not die? Luo Cheng was even faster, and the moment Judge made his move, he suddenly appeared beside Judge and grabbed him with one hand. Judge's pupils shrank. only to see a pure white hand approaching, and when he reacted, Luo Cheng was already in front of him. Not good, dangerous. Although he was aware of the danger, Judge still didn't have time to dodge, and Luo Cheng grabbed an arm. Judge wanted to struggle, but Luo Cheng's strength was too great. His arm was a little sore when Luo Cheng grabbed it. Rumbling. Luo Cheng slammed Judge onto the ground trembled, and the expressions of everyone nearby changed. In particular, the soldiers of Germa 66 were shocked. Luo Cheng had no idea that Luo Cheng would be so powerful, and he pushed Judge to the ground at once. Judge didn't expect Luo Cheng to be so powerful. Now that the head is pressed to the ground, it hurts a little. Is this man so powerful? He actually defeated his father. The three brothers were a little shocked. Reiju's big eyes twinkled, revealing a strange light. This man, who looked a little older than her, was actually so powerful that he pushed her father to the ground in one fell swoop. Really an excellent man. Reiju suddenly found himself interested in Luo Cheng. Luo Cheng picked up Judge. Look at you. Why are you attacking me? You can't beat me at all, so it's better to keep a low profile. The others looked at each other after listening. It was clearly you who challenged Judge. If Luo Cheng didn't want to check Judge's daughter, Judge wouldn't be so angry, let alone do it. Still saying that now. Judge lifted his foot and kicked hard. Luo Cheng's speed was even faster, blocking Judge's foot with his foot, and then flew out another kick, kicking Judge into the air. Judge, who flew out, quickly stabilized his body, then opened his hand and shouted loudly. Hurry up and throw my weapon over here, clear. Immediately, a cadre grabbed a high-tech metal spear and threw it out. Judge stretched out his hand, ready to pull out a high-tech weapon. But before he could get the weapon, a hurricane appeared, rolled up the technology spear, and blew Luo Cheng's side. Luo Cheng just spread out his hand, and the metal spear appeared in the palm of his hand. Soldiers. This weapon seems to be prepared for Judge. But why suddenly blow to Luo Cheng's side? Demon fruit power. Judge figured it out in an instant, gritted his teeth, his eyes were full of murderous intent, his hands clenched into fists and made a clicking sound. The angry flame in his eyes wanted to burn Luo Cheng to death. Luo Cheng flicked the weapon in his hand lightly. It was quite suitable, but unfortunately it couldn't compare to his Tiankong cloud sword. Billy suddenly, a lightning bolt appeared on the metal spear, and it touched Luo Cheng, slightly paralyzed. But to Luo Cheng, it was nothing. After all, he has the thunder breathing technique, and he has a relatively strong resistance to thunder and lightning. It's really good, there seems to be thunder and lightning on it, and there are such high-tech weapons. Luo Cheng threw it around twice, and thunder and lightning continued to appear, covering Luo Cheng. Judge looked at Luo Cheng with nothing at all, and opened his mouth in surprise. These lightning bolts are very strong, but Luo Cheng has nothing to do with it. It seems that this high-tech weapon is useless to Luo Cheng. Hey, be careful. Luo Cheng snapped his fingers. A storm suddenly appeared in the void, blowing on Judge's body, and Judge almost didn't stand still. Fortunately, it held up at the last minute, but as soon as he stabilized, Luo Cheng appeared, behind Judge, and slapped Judge on the shoulder. Judge didn't react, and fell heavily to the ground. Luo Cheng raised his right foot, stepped on Judge's shoulder, and stepped Judge on the ground. Quickly let go of father. Ichi and a few people started. But before getting close to Luo Cheng, it was blown away by a huge storm. Reiju also jumped to Luo Cheng's side in 3 or 2 steps, raised one foot, and kicked Luo Cheng down. This is the fragrance of beauty. Luo Cheng took a step back, dodged easily, then grabbed Reiju with one hand and pulled Reiju to his side. Reiju didn't react, bumped into Luo Cheng's body, and the two hugged each other tightly. Looking at each other, Reiju's heart skipped a beat, and she found that Luo Cheng is really handsome, and he is really good. Luo Cheng and Reiju hug each other and look at each other silently. Reiju was very nervous and his heart was beating fast. At this moment, Reiju was a little moved. After all, someone as good and handsome as Luo Cheng is rare in the world, how could he not be moved? Judge gritted his teeth, slapped the ground suddenly, broke free from Luo Cheng's feet, and quickly dodged aside. Being disturbed like this, Luo Cheng was a little unhappy, and he threw it away. It was a huge storm. The massive tornado quickly approached Judge. Judge just got rid of Luo Cheng, and he didn't have time to retreat. He was directly swept away by the tornado and kept spinning in the storm. Just for a moment, Judge was turned dizzy. The storm was getting bigger and bigger, and many people nearby were swept away by the storm before they had time to escape. In the storm, dozens of people kept spinning and screaming. Reiju also woke up, looking at the huge tornado in front of him. His eyes were full of shock. This is the first time I have seen such a powerful person. You can easily summon a huge tornado. Looking at the tornado in front of me, it is more than 10 meters wide and hundreds of meters high, which is completely comparable to a real sea tornado. Not only Reiju was shocked, but everyone else was also shocked. Too powerful. Is this the strength of Lord Vice Admiral? I didn't expect Lord Vice Admiral to be so powerful. Yeah, no wonder North Blue can be inspected. No one else spoke, but they were also shocked. Many people want to save Judge, but the speed is still a little slow, and few people dare to approach. Occasionally, a few who approached were unable to resist at all, and were swept away by the tornado, and then there were several more screams. Reiju woke up and quickly looked up at Luo Cheng. My lord, can you let my father go? Luo Cheng was a little moved when he saw Reiju's pitiful expression. He was a little unhappy for letting Judge go like this for the time being. If you can say a good word, it's not that I can't let your father go. Reiju's expression looked even weaker, her mouth deflated, a little aggrieved, but also heartwarming. Sir, please let my father go. My father will not rebel against you. While speaking, Reiju glanced at the tornado again. The tornado in front of me is getting bigger and bigger, and if it continues like this, it may spread to the entire kingdom of Germa 66. No problem. You begged me like that, so I can only let your father go. Luo Cheng waved his hand gently, and the tornado disappeared. A person fell from the sky and fell heavily to the ground, and Judge also fell to the ground. Judge was panting, cold sweat on his forehead, and panic in his eyes. Is this the strength of Marine? Obviously just an ordinary Marine Vice Admiral, not even Admiral, yet so powerful. This strength is really pervert. After Judge got up, he didn't do anything to Luo Cheng, but looked at Luo Cheng with fearful eyes. Sir, do you have anything to do with me? Luo Cheng could clearly see it. Judge's eyes were full of fear, obviously he had already confessed. But that's okay, he doesn't need to continue playing, and if he continues to fight, he is really afraid that he will accidentally beat Judge into an idiot. Come with me, and we'll have a good talk. Luo Cheng turned and walked into the distance. The next thing, it is best not to let people know. Judge didn't think much of it, immediately followed behind, and soon came to a no man's land. I heard that you have been suppressed by Doflamingo very badly during this time. Luo Cheng suddenly said something. Judge clenched his hands, angry inside, but he managed to restrain himself in the end. He couldn't beat Luo Cheng. What do you mean, sir? It's very simple. Let's cooperate. I will be your backstage, you sell arms everywhere, and I will take 60% of all the profits. Luo Cheng finally showed his greedy eyes. Now that he has been exiled to North Blue, he should make good money and make a lot of money. When he earns enough money, he can become stronger. Judge was stunned for a moment, completely unresponsive. Luo Cheng actually planned to cooperate with him. Do you want to work with me? Sell arms together. Yes, I will provide you with protection. You can find a way to sell arms, but I will take 60%. Luo Cheng said with certainty. Judge heard it clearly this time. Luo Cheng really intends to cooperate with him, but it seems pretty good. After all, Luo Cheng's strength is so pervert that he can cooperate with Luo Cheng, so he doesn't need to be afraid of Doflamingo. I agree, I am willing to cooperate with you, but this share. Judge was about to say something. Luo Cheng stretched out a hand, put it on Judge's shoulder, and pressed down lightly with one hand. Do you want to refuse? Luo Cheng's expression was a little indifferent. Judge was about to speak, but gave up. I understand, it's divided like that. That's good, don't worry, I will definitely protect you well. Luo Cheng patted Judge's shoulder and glanced at Reiju not far away. Reiju noticed Luo Cheng's gaze and immediately lowered his head, slightly embarrassed. By the way, Judge, is there a pharaoh next door to you? Judge is a little confused. What does the old king next door mean? Oh, you may not know, don't you think your daughter looks very different from you? She is so beautiful. Does your family have a pharaoh next door? Luo Cheng's meaning is obvious, that is, he is mocking. Judge's face darkened instantly. If it wasn't that he couldn't beat Luo Cheng, he would definitely teach Luo Cheng a lesson. But thinking that Luo Cheng is very powerful, Judge can only give up the unrealistic idea in the end. Can't beat it. I am the king of the country, and there is no old king at home, and when I was young, I was actually quite handsome, but I have gotten older over the years. Judge shook his hair deliberately. He was really handsome when he was young, Reiju is so beautiful, and he inherited the advantages of her mother. And many more. Could it be that Reiju's beauty really has nothing to do with him? Ha ha ha. I'm joking with you, by the way, I still have things to do, so I'll go first, and when your daughter grows up, she must come to my house as a guest. Luo Cheng smiled suddenly, turned around and left. Judge understood what Luo Cheng meant. I understand. When my daughter grows up, she will definitely take him to see you. Then I'll go first. Luo Cheng left with Marine. Judge watched silently, feeling a little unhappy in his heart. Was actually threatened. North Blue. A pirate ship is sailing fast. In the bow stood a man with a red nose. Of course this man is the clown Buggy. Captain, we had a good time in East Blue. Why did you come to North Blue? The pirates next to me are very curious. I don't know what Buggy was thinking, and suddenly left East Blue and came to North Blue. Know that East Blue is his home base. HMPH, I have already dominated the entire East Blue, so naturally I want to come and dominate the entire North Blue. Buggy put his hands on his hips and held his head proudly. As expected of the captain, it's really amazing. The big eyes of the nearby pirates are full of admiration. Buggy was even more proud, but was speechless inside. If it wasn't for being threatened by Luo Cheng, how could he have come to North Blue? North Blue is too dangerous. Although he is actually nothing in terms of his strength, he is easily exposed, especially in Marine's eyes. But Luo Cheng actually threatened him. What can he do? Since he couldn't beat Luo Cheng, he could only admit it. Captain Buggy, the destination is ahead. Buggy snapped back to his senses and looked into the distance. An island looms. You send me up now. The pirate ship was approaching soon. As soon as they approached the coast, Buggy was a man in a black robe, and this man must be Luo Cheng. The pirates also noticed Luo Cheng and looked at each other, wondering who Luo Cheng was. Only a few people guessed Luo Cheng's identity, but they didn't dare to say it, so they could only bury this idea in their hearts. You are waiting for me here. Buggy jumped out first, standing in front of Luo Cheng. Every time I see Luo Cheng, Buggy will shiver with fear, always feel that Luo Cheng is terrifying. Sir Luo Cheng, you are now Vice Admiral. Why do you still care about me, a little guy? Buggy was about to cry without tears. Why are you looking for him again? What? Do you think I'm annoying? So trying to get rid of me, am I that annoying? Luo Cheng spread out his hands and squeezed gently, making a clicking sound between his fingers. Buggy shivered a little, panicking in his heart. I seem to have offended Luo Cheng. What should I do now? Where? How dare I refuse? As long as it is your request, sir, I will do my best to complete it. Buggy immediately lowered his head, flattering. Very well. Now I give you a very simple task. As long as you can complete the task, prosperity and wealth are indispensable. Luo Cheng tapped Buggy on the shoulder. Buggy's face changed completely. What glory and wealth is just a joke. Luo Cheng came to him this time, definitely to rob a certain faction, and Luo Cheng was not good at it. But either side is particularly dangerous. Sir, is there any danger? Buggy was about to cry. He felt that his life was very unlucky. Why did he meet Luo Cheng? You still don't trust me. How could I take you to do something dangerous? There is absolutely no danger. Luo Cheng patted his heart. But Buggy didn't trust Luo Cheng at all. I believe Luo Cheng will die. But seeing Luo Cheng's expression, Buggy also knew that he had to agree. If he refused, it would definitely be more dangerous. I understand what the task is, as long as I can do it, I will never refuse it. Buggy's tone has a sense of generosity. To be honest, Luo Cheng felt a little embarrassed. After all, he always used Buggy. But forget it, this is the only use value of Buggy as a tool. Actually, there is nothing dangerous, I just hope that you can rob all the kingdoms of North Blue. Thump. Suddenly, Buggy stood firm. Did he hear it wrong? Luo Cheng wanted to rob North Blue's kingdom, and let him go anyway. So many countries looted one by one. He could already imagine the danger of being wanted by the entire marine, and that feeling was desperate. Buggy is in tears now. Sir, isn't it too dangerous to rob the entire North Blue? I'll definitely be wanted by naval headquarters, and I'll definitely implicate you. I have no problem with my own accident, but if I accidentally involve you, I will not bear it. Luo Cheng was very moved by Buggy's thoughtful expression. Didn't expect Buggy to care about him so much. He was still using Buggy, and he couldn't bear it anymore. In order to repay Buggy, Luo Cheng could only. Don't worry, I will help you keep the secret. If you die accidentally, I will choose the best coffin for you to bury. In order to repay his kindness, Luo Cheng could only choose a good coffin and find a good place for burial. Buggy couldn't stand still and wanted to cry. Sir, it's too dangerous, and I can't control the entire North Blue by myself, or you can go directly to Rob. Luo Cheng paused. It was a good decision, he could take Buggy and them over to Rob. After the looting, he appeared as Marine Vice Admiral, collecting protection fees everywhere. Those who do not pay protection fees continue to rob. Thinking of this, Luo Cheng had a smile on his face. Hey hee, this plan is pretty good. When Buggy noticed Luo Cheng's smile, he knew Luo Cheng was thinking of something bad, and his body was trembling. But don't make trouble with him. Luo Cheng quickly regained his senses and patted Buggy's shoulder lightly. Don't worry, when the time comes, everyone will be masked, and I will help you conceal your identity. When necessary, I will just throw the blame. When Buggy heard Luo Cheng's words, he was a little relieved. If he was masked, and Luo Cheng concealed it, there shouldn't be much danger. Don't worry. This time, I will definitely give you a lot of money, I swear, no less than 10 million Baileys, even hundreds of millions of Baileys. Seriously, Buggy wasn't very convinced. But even if he didn't believe it, he had to believe that who made Luo Cheng stronger than him. Sir, don't worry, I will never let you down this time, and I will definitely work hard. Buggy gritted his teeth, still a little nervous in his heart. Okay, I'll explain. I'll set off with you in a few days. There are so many kingdoms in North Blue, we will definitely be able to make a lot of money. Luo Cheng tapped Buggy's shoulder. Buggy was so seduced by Luo Cheng, his eyes filled with greed. This time it's sure to make a lot of money. God killed pirates, that's too abominable. Inside a palace, several nobles cried loudly. Because not long ago, they were robbed by a group of masked men. After crying for a while, the king raised his head and wiped the tears from his eyes. Hurry up and inform Marine. Be sure to catch this abominable pirate, and never let them go. Yes, my jewelry necklace is gone, and my favorite ruby necklace. The queen beside her was also crying. All the pearls and emeralds on his body were stripped off, leaving only this expensive piece of clothing, which the pirates despised. The poor king and queen did not know that this robbery was personally planned by Luo Cheng, the Marine Vice Admiral. Pity these nobles. Not only this country, but many nearby countries were robbed by inexplicable people and suffered heavy losses. The news quickly reached Naval Headquarters. Office of the Marshal, Sengoku extra attention. After all, so many kingdoms have been robbed, and they are all affiliated countries of the world government, they must pay attention to it. Otherwise, the world government member countries do not provide fees, and they will be out of luck. Notify Luo Cheng now, so that he must investigate this matter as soon as possible. Below, Zephyr looks a little weird. He always felt that this matter had something to do with Luo Cheng. Because as long as Luo Cheng is there, there will definitely be a money loss incident. It's just that this time the matter was bigger, and it actually affected the entire North Blue kingdoms. And this happened after Luo Cheng went to North Blue, so Zephyr was even more skeptical. But he didn't say anything. After all, there is no evidence, so Luo Cheng can't be framed casually, especially Luo Cheng's own strength is very strong. North Blue. After Luo Cheng received Sengoku's order, he immediately set off with his marine, ready to investigate. In less than 3 days, Luo Cheng arrived at the First Kingdom, which is also the largest kingdom in the entire North Blue, with several million people and more than 100,000 troops. The kingdom's combat power is also very strong. If Luo Cheng hadn't done it himself, Buggy would have been wiped out by this kingdom, let alone a successful robbery. Luo Cheng was going to finish this kingdom first. As long as this kingdom compromised, the other kingdoms would be easy too. Kingdom of Lucia. The king had already sent his left minister to wait here for a long time. After all, it was Marine Vice Admiral who had a very high status, and he would definitely send someone over to greet him, and he had to be of sufficient rank. Master Left Minister, Marine is here, the soldier said suddenly. Minister Zuo raised his head and saw a warship slowly approaching. On the warship, there are many Marines. The first one is of course Luo Cheng. Luo Cheng got off the warship, walked slowly in front of Minister Zuo, and looked around. He was greeted here by many soldiers, who seemed to look up to him. Also, what he said was Marine Vice Admiral. Lord Vice Admiral, we have been waiting here for a long time, and you are welcome. Minister Left said respectfully. Take me to your palace. Luo Cheng walked forward, special hockey, clear. Under the leadership of Minister Zuo, Luo Cheng came to the royal palace of the Kingdom of Lucia. At this moment, countless princes and nobles are waiting here. How they wish Luo Cheng to solve the case as soon as possible. Because the money that was robbed was too much, so much that they felt heartache. After arriving at the palace, the king immediately came over. There are many nobles followed by the queen. Mr. Vice Admiral, this time I hope you can find those pirates as soon as possible. The king's tone was a little cold. Luo Cheng paused. Sure enough, this king should be robbed, and it is a bit arrogant to dare to speak to him in such a tone. Rest assured, I will definitely investigate. From now on, all of you will be subject to my interrogation. Luo Cheng walked to the front and sat down very hastily in the king's seat, as if this was where he was supposed to be. The king also noticed Luo Cheng's actions, frowned and felt a little unhappy. He felt that he was being humiliated by Luo Cheng. This Vice Admiral, this is my position, and I sent you here to investigate that mysterious pirate. Don't worry, when you come. The investigation has been made clear, and there are some eyebrows. Luo Cheng ignored the king's arrogant words. The king originally planned to say something, but when he heard Luo Cheng's eyes, he was very happy, even a little excited. Who is that person? We must catch him and cut him with 1,000 cuts. We must not let them go. Many people nearby felt a chill. The current king is really scary. Luo Cheng was quite calm, not afraid at all. Don't worry, I already know who did it, and now I'll catch that person and send it to your front. Then don't hurry up. The king's tone was a little unpleasant. Many nearby marines frowned. Because the king's tone was too arrogant, even as arrogant as Luo Cheng. Didn't know Luo Cheng was Marine Vice Admiral? Even those nobles felt that the king was too arrogant. It's very simple, that person is you, the king. You directed and acted everything yourself. You are the culprit. Come on, arrest me now. The king was stunned after hearing this. Luo Cheng actually said that he was the murderer. How could he possibly be the murderer? The nobles also looked at each other, and Marine was speechless. They can see that Luo Cheng is definitely taking revenge on the king, who made this king so arrogant. Marine, I ask you to come here to investigate the pirate, not to make you joke with me. The king gritted his teeth angrily. He thought Luo Cheng was joking, or not serious at all. Am I kidding? I'm a real detective. This is my best reasoning, it's all your conspiracy. Detective. Everyone was complaining in their hearts. I don't think Luo Cheng is a famous detective, but I think Luo Cheng is very faint. Is there such a reasoning? Luo Cheng is either taking revenge on the king, or taking the king to blame. What are you looking at? Don't hurry up and get this guy out and torture me. Yes, Marine came over immediately and pulled the king down. The nearby nobles were all stunned, and did not respond for a while. By the time he reacted, the king had already been pulled away by Marine. Only the screams of the king came out. Outside the palace, the king's screams were heard. The nearby nobles shivered. Luo Cheng was so scary, he just came over and grabbed their king, and they were also afraid that Luo Cheng would take them away. Only the queen stood up from the side. This Marine, I invited you here to investigate those pirates, not to frame my husband. If you don't let my husband out, don't blame me for being rude. The queen is still very fierce. It's a pity that the nearby nobles are all cowardly, without saying a word, bowing their heads, looking shivering. Luo Cheng's mouth rose slightly. It seems that you are also one of the murderers. You are here, all of them will be taken away by me, and then I will be tortured very well. Immediately came 2 Marines and took the queen away. Damn, you Marines framed me, I will never let you go, the world government will definitely stop you. The queen continued to struggle, but she was still pulled away by Marine, and the nearby nobles were even more afraid. This is the first time I have seen such a ruthless Marine. Soon, only a few people remained in the palace. Luo Cheng glanced at the nobles present. The nobles were startled, their bodies trembling, and they were afraid of being taken away by Luo Cheng. Although they are nobles, is still far worse than Luo Cheng's Marine Vice Admiral. That is, the king was too stupid before. Okay, although the culprit has been caught, but those pirates have not been caught, we should have a good discussion. Luo Cheng tapped the table lightly. All the nobles looked at each other in dismay. Finally, an old noble stepped forward and stood in front of Luo Cheng, one foot trembling. Lord Vice Admiral, this is all up to Lord Vice Admiral, we will never interfere. Yeah, we trust Lord Vice Admiral more. All the aristocrats were stunned. Luo Cheng had a smile on his face. That's good, it's not impossible to help you investigate, but you have to show it well. The nobles were all dumbfounded, and Marine was dumbfounded. They all seemed to have heard it all wrong. Luo Cheng actually wanted to express something. What does this mean? Are you trying to blackmail these nobles? The Marines, in particular, were absolutely humiliated. They are Marines, righteous Marines, and they should catch pirates. How can they do such a thing for the sake of justice? It's a shame for their Marines. Lord Vice Admiral, what do you mean? Asked the old nobleman. He had actually guessed it, but he just couldn't believe it. As you think, we Marines, we go through wind and rain every day, often without vacations, and it's hard to be with our families. In addition, we have to fight against these pirates. The mortality rate is very high. In every battle, some companions will die, but the death pension is not high. When Luo Cheng spoke, he deliberately lowered his voice and sounded a little sad. The Marine at the back was also rendered by Luo Cheng. Yes. The Marine is too bitter. The nobles also understood what Luo Cheng meant, and could even be said to have guessed it. So, I hope you can offer me some money to calm the hearts of these Marines. Luo Cheng stared straight at the nobleman in front of him. The Marines had expressions that looked exactly like that. But thinking about it carefully, what Luo Cheng said just now is quite right. They worked too hard. These nobles are so rich, they should contribute a little to them. As for the previous thoughts of self-forgetfulness, they were all left behind. Only 2 words can describe it. Really fragrant. What is justice for? Might as well make some more money. Our Luo Cheng Vice Admiral, who knows how to make money, and even brought a few of them. What a nice guy. Luo Cheng glanced at the Marines inadvertently, and when he saw the grateful eyes of these Marines, he couldn't help shivering. What a terrible group of Marines. The nobles wanted to cry without tears. Soon, although they hid a lot and didn't hurt their muscles or bones, they were still very distressed. Now Luo Cheng has robbed again, and he is even more distressed. But if you don't give it, Luo Cheng's purpose is already obvious, that is, to rob the nobles. I see, Lord Vice Admiral, I'll give you 5 million Baileys for these Marines. All Marines' eyes lit up. 5 million Baileys, with an average score, each person has tens of thousands of Baileys, and this time he made a lot of money. It's a pity that Luo Cheng felt a little less. No, 5 million Bailey is too little. I am the chief inspector of the entire North Blue, and the entire North Blue will be under my control in the future, and if you encounter any trouble, it will also be under my control. Now that there are so many Marines in North Blue, you will give 5 million Baileys, isn't this a beggar? You must give 100 million Baileys. Marines just feel like they have money on their minds. 100 million Bailey, how much money should this be? They will definitely get the money by then. The faces of the nobles were darkened, and their hearts were aching. 100 million Baileys, that's all. And they heard Luo Cheng's words clearly, the chief inspector of the entire North Blue, which means that they are all under Luo Cheng's protection. The meaning of Luo Cheng's words is that if they are disobedient and something happens, Luo Cheng will not protect them. And many more. Shouldn't this series of events be planned by Luo Cheng, and Luo Cheng is the villain behind the scenes? Probably. The nobles did not even dare to think in this regard. Lord Vice Admiral, we need to think about it. In the end, the old aristocrat did not immediately agree. No problem, think about it now, we Marine have worked so hard, we have to pay some investigation fees. Luo Cheng beckoned, not paying attention. That's right. All the Marines nodded at the same time. There is nothing in this world that money cannot solve. If there is, it means that the money is not enough. Don't look at how they cared about it before, that's because those Marines aren't corrupt. Since they encounter corruption by their superiors, they will naturally embezzle some of them, or they will feel sorry for their superiors. Kindness. I am also sorry for my heart. After a few minutes of discussion, the old noble walked in front of Luo Cheng and was about to cry. Lord Vice Admiral, we have agreed, and we will spend 100 million Baileys to honor the Lord. Remember, the protection fee of 100 million Bailey every 6 months and 200 million Bailey a year must not be less. A greedy smile appeared on Luo Cheng's face. To make a lot of money again, this life is worth it. For the next period of time, Luo Cheng roamed the entire North Blue, sweeping across various countries. After various coercion and inducements, these nobles finally agreed to Luo Cheng's request. Give Luo Cheng some money. Those who don't provide it will encounter pirate attacks that night, and will kill some nobles. There are some particularly arrogant pirates, they are unlucky, they were caught by Luo Cheng on the spot, and the crime is colluding with pirates. Luo Cheng is also not too restrained. As long as he gets enough money, he can become more and more powerful, and then Marine will have to compromise. For example, Garp's son is a revolutionary army, and the world government has not treated him well, let alone Marine. Although his status is not as good as Garp, but fortunately he did not do anything too evil. This matter eventually spread to naval headquarters. After all, these nobles have rights, and they have a lot of contacts in the world government, so they can naturally sue naval headquarters. Luo Cheng didn't really care too much, because he already knew, even if he sue naval headquarters will not punish him. After all, he did not rob him directly. At most it is a reprimand. Naval headquarters, Sengoku was preparing for a meeting when he received a call from the world government. When he knew the content, Sengoku's face turned dark instantly. At this time, Garp and the others came to the office, and naturally noticed Sengoku's expression, and his heart was a little dignified. Sengoku, did something happen to New World? The others also had serious expressions, each sitting in their place, looking directly at Sengoku. Sengoku's face was ugly and he gritted his teeth. Who else? Not Luo Cheng. He never imagined that Luo Cheng had just arrived at North Blue and had not even begun to investigate North Blue's situation, and that Luo Cheng would become North Blue's biggest tumor. Actually blackmailing all the kingdoms of North Blue. I don't know what Luo Cheng thinks. Is he so cruel? What happened to Luo Cheng? Garp's eyes widened, Suru Vice Admiral was concerned, Sakazuki's ears perked up, and Zephyr was equally concerned. The other marine generals listened intently. There seems to be a big event. And it's still related to Luo Cheng. What else can I do? I asked him to investigate the robbery of those pirates, but he did better and directly arrested those nobles and even some kings. He also asked the remaining nobles to raise money for him, as Marine's food, nutrition, disability allowance, death, and other expenses. All the Marines opened their mouths. Is there still such a game in this world? To actually let those nobles give money, and there are still so many expenses. I even thought about the name of the fee. I don't think it's unreasonable. We Marines also need to be disabled and subsidized. After all, the mortality rate is too high. Garp nodded, and didn't feel that there was anything wrong, and even felt that it was very suitable. They Marine also needed subsidies. The other Marines were surprised, but when Garp said it, there seemed to be nothing wrong. Sengoku's face darkened and he glared at Garp. Garp understood in an instant and wiped the sweat from his forehead in embarrassment. Ha ha ha. Luo Cheng is too much. How can he threaten those nobles privately? Sengoku didn't say much, just felt a headache. Why is Luo Cheng such a powerful person? He is also a problem boy. Forget it. Don't bother so much. Sengoku, I think Luo Cheng is very good. Why don't you call and reprimand him and tell him not to do it again? Crane Vice Admiral said something next to him. Although he also felt that Luo Cheng was a bit too much, he already regarded Luo Cheng as his brother-in-law, so he naturally wanted to help Luo Cheng. Okay. Call and reprimand. Sengoku picked up the phone and got through quickly. Hello. Who is it? What's the matter? As soon as the call was connected, Luo Cheng's lazy voice came from the opposite side. Sengoku's face was particularly ugly, and he could tell from his voice that Luo Cheng had a very nourishing life now. The other Marines also heard it and were very envious. Lord Vice Admiral, come? Have a good time with me tonight, please. Before Sengoku could speak, he heard a woman's voice, which was even more ugly. Crane Vice Admiral's face also turned green. Luo Cheng actually has a woman on the other side. The Marine generals also had strange expressions on their faces. This little life is so cool. Luo Cheng, you Marine scum, what the hell are you doing? On the opposite side, for a moment, I didn't expect it to be Sengoku, and it was actually heard by Sengoku. Luo Cheng immediately pushed the beautiful woman next to him away. The beauty reluctantly left. Marshal Sengoku, what am I doing? I'm just investigating this beauty, and he is most likely related to the pirates this time. Sengoku's mouth twitched. Is this making him an idiot? No idiot would believe Luo Cheng's words. Stop kidding me. Are you out looking for women? Don't forget Marine and someone who likes you. Sengoku yelled loudly. The crane next to him, Vice Admiral, nodded. She likes Luo Cheng as her brother-in-law. Marshal Sengoku, why don't you believe me? This woman is definitely a pirate, and she wanted to seduce me just now, but you guys heard it. Sengoku nodded, not believing it anyway. Okay, let's not talk about this kind of thing. What did you do in North Blue? You actually blackmail those nobles. What the hell are you doing? Don't hurry up and stop your actions for me. What? Marshal Sengoku, what are you talking about? I can't hear you clearly, you should speak louder. Chi 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 chi. Luo Cheng made a weird noise with his mouth. You have already made this step, how can you stop? Sengoku's face was even more ugly. Luo Cheng, don't make fun of me, is this sound coming from your mouth? Ah, did you hear that? Luo Cheng pretended to be puzzled. Sengoku wanted to slap Luo Cheng to death. When he's an idiot. I can't even hear this sound. Puff. Garp couldn't help but laugh. The other marine generals also felt strange. This is the first time I've seen anyone other than Garp who can upset Sengoku so much. Stop talking nonsense. In a word, it is not allowed to target those nobles, they have already sued the world government. What? Marshal Sengoku, what are you talking about? I can't hear you clearly, by the way, my mother told me to go home for dinner, so I'll go back first. Luo Cheng, do you think I'm an idiot? Are you not an orphan? Who will call you home for dinner? Sengoku almost growled. Peeved. Garp couldn't help but laugh. He thinks Luo Cheng is very interesting, especially in playing Sengoku, which he appreciates very much. The other marines were also quite speechless. This is the first time I have seen someone who dares to stand up to Sengoku like this. Oh, I forgot, by the way. What did you just say? Let me bring you a present, I see, I'll prepare it now. Luo Cheng immediately changed the subject. Don't change the subject for me. Listen to my orders clearly, don't do something out of the ordinary, let alone do something to the nobles. Sengoku quickly emphasized one sentence. Luo Cheng rolled his eyes, he had already reached this stage, how could he give up, and it was absolutely impossible to give up. What? Some pirates came in, and they called me by name to challenge me. They were so arrogant and didn't take our marines seriously. I'll teach them a lesson now. Marshal Sengoku, there is a pirate provoking our marine. I will deal with him now, and I will definitely be back within a month. Luo Cheng turned around and was about to leave. Sengoku's face darkened instantly. This is clearly playing them like idiots. Also, I will definitely come back within a month. Which pirate is so powerful, and he still insists on it for a month? This is clearly a provocation. Luo Cheng, don't forget to bring gifts. Garp shouted suddenly. No problem. Luo Cheng just heard the voice, nodded and agreed. As soon as he finished speaking, Luo Cheng felt that something was wrong, and he seemed to have missed the point. Bold pirate, dare to provoke me like this, I will kill you now. Luo Cheng rushed outside immediately. Sengoku was very upset, if not because Luo Cheng was not in front of him, he would have reprimanded Luo Cheng severely. Definitely reprimand for an hour. In the crowd, Sakazuki suddenly stood up. Marshal Sengoku, Luo Cheng is too abhorrent to do such a bad thing in vain for marine, I will bring him back now and let him explain it clearly. After speaking, Sakazuki turned around and left without giving Sengoku a chance to speak. He actually wanted to take down Luo Cheng, so he took the opportunity to repair Luo Cheng and let out his anger. How dare you say he is a dog? Sakazuki, just reprimand it properly, don't overdo it. Sengoku knows Sakazuki's purpose, but he also knows that he can't stop it. He just hopes that Sakazuki will restrain a little bit. It's better not to fight. Shouldn't it fight? Too bad Sengoku didn't know that a riot was about to begin, and he would surely regret it then. North Blue Marine Base, Luo Cheng was particularly upset. Although he knew that someone would definitely inform him, he didn't expect to be known by the world government and by Sengoku so quickly. He has not received the money yet. Luo Cheng doesn't really care, he just cares about whether he has received the money or not, and there is no need to care about other things. However, these people still have to be taught a lesson. Come on. Let me wander North Blue, I'm going to visit every country, there are a lot of pirates there. Over the next month or so, Luo Cheng arrested many people in various countries. They are some of the more important nobles. But Luo Cheng didn't arrest too many people, just to warn these people and let these nobles not talk nonsense. These nobles were indeed frightened. They also understood that Luo Cheng didn't care about naval headquarters' opinions. If Luo Cheng didn't listen to Luo Cheng's words, Luo Cheng would definitely take action against them. It didn't take long for these nobles to jointly report that everything before was false, they were just framing Luo Cheng, just because they were jealous of Luo Cheng. Anyway, the world government would never believe it, not even Luo Cheng. Because these people have no need to envy him at all. North Blue Marine Base Headquarters. Luo Cheng was sitting in his office, and there were many people standing in front of them, all of whom were the heads of the various kingdoms of North Blue. Well, the current person in charge. Some of them were kings, and some of them were captured, these nobles. The nobles shivered when they looked at Luo Cheng in front of them. In particular, there were many Marines standing on both sides, each holding a large knife and an axe. This is the knife and axe hand arranged by Luo Cheng. You have done a good job, thank you for the proof of door in the world card. I think I've worked hard every day to track down the whereabouts of the pirates, just for your sake, and as a result, some people, for their own selfishness, actually framed me to the world government. Luo Cheng also wiped his eyeballs. Unfortunately, there were no tears at all. It's really nothing to be sad about after all. Luo Cheng stepped aside, picked up an onion, hesitated for a while, and finally went out. Look, I shed so many tears, nobles, Marines. His eyes seemed to be dry, with no tears at all. Cough cough cough. Luo Cheng coughed lightly, and one of the Marines came over immediately, slightly respectfully. Sir Vice Admiral, you have worked hard. The other Marines also reacted and shouted immediately. Sir Vice Admiral, you have worked hard. The aristocrats did not respond badly, and they also came to flatter. Luo Cheng wiped his eyes immediately, but there were still no tears, but forget it, it doesn't matter. Look, I worked so hard for Marine and to protect you. I haven't slept for days and nights, and my eye circles have gotten worse. Nobles and Marines watched carefully. Still so pure and white, I can't see any bags under the eyes at all, let alone dark circles. Never seen such a brazen person. Why are there such thick-skinned people in this world? Lord Vice Admiral, you must protect your body, and don't let your body wear out. The Marine said again just now. Luo Cheng nodded. This Marine is quite smart, and it seems that he can be trained well. Well, you were right. Tomorrow you will be my second adjutant and share the work for me. Marine's eyes lit up. Get promoted. He finally did it. Lord Vice Admiral, I will work for you, I will work for Marine, and I will work hard for Marine. Marine next to him is envious. I knew they were flattering Luo Cheng too. Don't say so much, in short, you must know that I do this, everything is for you. Luo Cheng felt that he was the sun, sacrificed himself for others, and illuminated the entire North Blue. By the way, from today, you are the kings of various countries, I will support you, and as long as I am in North Blue, I will maintain your rule. Luo Cheng suddenly said something. The eyes of several nobles lit up. They were originally just ordinary nobles, but now that Luo Cheng has dealt with the king, they have become kings. As for paying some money, it's nothing at all. As long as they can become kings, they will have time to make money in the future, and they will be able to make more money. Master Vice Admiral, you have worked hard during this time, and you must rest well in the future. Several nobles immediately expressed their allegiance. The remaining nobles also reacted, bowing their heads humbly, no different from licking a dog. Very well, if all nobles are as smart as you, I don't need to worry so much. By the way, it's time for you to go back, and I'm going to take a good rest. I've been too tired during this time, and my face is almost wrinkled. Although the nobles were speechless, they left. After all the nobles left, Luo Cheng beckoned gently, and the Marines immediately retreated. By the way, inform the entire Marine base, come and collect the money tonight, everyone has 10,000 Baileys. Luo Cheng took out 10,000 Baileys and was very reluctant. But he has eaten meat, so he will give these people soup. Thank you, Lord Vice Admiral. All the Marines are excited. Originally they were representatives of justice, but now there is no way, they have been discounted by money. Outside, many Marines knew and cheered. Fantastic, this Lord Vice Admiral is so much better than the previous Lord Vice Admiral. Yeah, it's actually able to give us so much money. Not a lot actually. There are tens of thousands of Marines in the entire North Blue, and one person is 10,000 Baileys, but only about 100 million Baileys. There are many kingdoms in North Blue, which can provide him with a lot of Bailey, and can support these people. Many Marines were cheering in the square. Luo Cheng looked at these cheering Marines, and felt an inexplicable sense of accomplishment in his heart. Fantastic. I wanted to be a righteous Marine before, but the money is so sweet, and now I want to make more money. A Marine said. Luo Cheng's mouth twitched. The Marine of East Blue was damaged by him, the Marine of the G5 base became a rogue, and even the Marine here was damaged by him. He thought he might be Marine's biggest cancer. Wrong. He should be the embodiment of justice, the savior of Marine, and the savior of the future world government. Next, it's time to harvest the money. Luo Cheng looked at the distant sky and was excited. Although these nobles agreed to give the money, they have not yet handed over the money. After all, it will take some time to raise money. Moreover, these nobles are still waiting for the order of the world government, expecting Luo Cheng to be transferred. Of course they have to find an excuse. Luo Cheng didn't care too much either. After a while, many nobles felt that Luo Cheng could not be transferred, and had to start raising money. They are naturally reluctant to take the money themselves, so many nobles are discussing how much they should pay. So another little time wasted. On this day, when Luo Cheng was resting, a marine warship slowly approached. Above the warship, Sakazuki looked into the distance, folded his arms over his chest, and had a murderous look in his eyes. This time he came here to catch Luo Cheng. To be precise, Luo Cheng was brought back for interrogation. But Sakazuki wouldn't care so much, he was very upset. Especially Luo Cheng's ridicule, he kept it in his heart, and he always thought about how to retaliate against Luo Cheng and vent his anger. Akainu Admiral, in front of North Blue Marine Base. Sakazuki immediately raised his head and looked at the looming marine base in the distance. Luo Cheng's figure appeared in his mind. He must capture Luo Cheng and send Luo Cheng to naval headquarters. If Luo Cheng resists and accidentally hurts Luo Cheng, it is none of his business. Dock me. The marine warship quickly docked. An Admiral-class warship approached, naturally attracting the attention of many marines. Marine immediately notified Luo Cheng. Inside the office, Luo Cheng frowned when he heard Sakazuki's arrival. Although he didn't know what Sakazuki was doing, there was definitely nothing good. But since Sakazuki is here, he can't be cowardly. Luo Cheng immediately walked out of the office and came to the square, and happened to see Sakazuki, walking from a distance. Sakazuki stopped in front of Luo Cheng. Luo Cheng, you unscrupulously plundered the wealth of the world government member countries. I came here next time to take you back to naval headquarters for investigation. Investigation? Luo Cheng's mind instantly came up with countless possibilities, but they were quickly rejected. If you really want to investigate, you will definitely call him and let him go back directly. If you want to catch him, one Sakazuki is definitely not enough. At least a few more people need to be sent over, which means that this is Sakazuki's private action and has not been recognized by Sengoku. If that's the case, then he doesn't need to be cowardly. He should also. Come on, get me this traitor Akainu quickly and bring it back to naval headquarters for trial. Luo Cheng snorted loudly, then opened his hand, and a storm appeared in the palm of his hand. The huge storm spread to the entire base, the sky was full of rustling sounds, and the seawater constantly set off waves of turbulent waves. The storm fruit is in full swing. Sakazuki's face darkened. He was cruel enough, he just brought Luo Cheng back to be tried, and he didn't put any charges on Luo Cheng. Luo Cheng is more ruthless than him. Just say he's a traitor. It's almost a matter of getting him to FA rectification on the spot. All the Marines looked at each other. The two Marine generals were about to fight. What should they do? And two great people. None of the nearby Marines had any plans to do it. This is clearly the contradiction between the two Marines. And as they saw it with their own eyes, Luo Cheng and Sakazuki almost got into a fight. HMPH, Luo Cheng, it seems that you have a connection with the pirates. Maybe you did the robbery. I will never let you go today. Sakazuki snorted coldly and gave Luo Cheng the blame. Although it's a random dump, what Sakazuki said is correct, and all this is indeed done by Luo Cheng. Of course Luo Cheng couldn't admit it. Akainu, I'll take you today, bring it back to naval headquarters, and deliver it to Impel Down. Great eruption. Sakazuki was a little angry, and half of his body turned into lava. Countless hot magma flowed continuously, and soon formed a huge arm. But just as Sakazuki was about to do it, Luo Cheng suddenly stretched out a hand. And many more. Sakazuki stopped subconsciously. He thought Luo Cheng didn't want to do anything anymore, and since that was the case, there was no need to work hard. Let's fight in another place. This is Marine Base after all. If we fight, there will be countless casualties. Sakazuki frowned and looked around Marine. If there is a fight here, there will definitely be heavy casualties, and all the injured are Marine. At that time, he will definitely be punished by Marshal Sengoku. Well, let's change places. Today I must let you know how good I am. Sakazuki walked out first. Luo Cheng is close behind. The two of them took the boat at the same time and soon came to a nearby desert island. There are not many people on the desert island, so it is very suitable as a battlefield for 2 people. Luo Cheng jumped to the island first, then threw his arm and turned to look at Sakazuki with a sullen look in his eyes. Red Dog, it's been a long time since I looked at you. I'll beat you into a dog today to let you know how good I am. Sakazuki was very angry at first, but when he heard Luo Cheng's name, he became even more angry. Very well. I must take you back today and put you on trial by the world government. Great eruption. Sakazuki swung out a flame. The hot magma flames roared constantly and soon formed a huge arm. The rolling magma arm was like a giant's fist, with the momentum of a volcanic eruption, rushing towards Luo Cheng. A hot, hot wind blew on Luo Cheng's face. Luo Cheng opened his hands and looked up at the sky. On the originally calm sea, a huge storm suddenly appeared. The storm was getting bigger and bigger. The marine warship was shaking constantly, and there was a possibility that it would be submerged at any time. There were also huge waves on the sea. Everyone be careful. This is Luo Cheng Vice Admiral's storm fruit. It is very powerful. If you are not careful, it will definitely be blown away. Adjutant Marine shouted. Many Marines were clutching at the cords for fear of being blown away by the sea breeze. Only Sakazuki, standing in the storm, let these hurricanes blow on him, still motionless. But Sakazuki also had vigilance in his eyes. The magma fist approached. Luo Cheng raised his hand, and a strong tornado suddenly appeared, which quickly engulfed the magma. As soon as the magma was engulfed, it was torn apart by the tornado, turned into small magma, and was blown in all directions. Chi, countless magma spilled all over the ground, constantly corroding the ground, and soon large pits were corroded on the ground, and it also gave off an unpleasant smell. Dark Hound. Sakazuki quickly rushed in front of Luo Cheng, raised his arm that was bubbling with lava, and slammed it down. The magma was constantly changing, and soon a hound was formed, giving out a ferocious roar. Luo Cheng, if you show mercy now, I can let you go temporarily. Sakazuki still wanted Luo Cheng to surrender. He was afraid that Luo Cheng would be killed by accident, and his reputation would be bad. Stop joking. It's just wishful thinking if you want to kill me alone. Luo Cheng looked at the approaching Sakazuki, sneered in his heart, and opened his hand. It was a huge tornado. The tornado kept roaring, and it quickly swallowed Sakazuki in one bite. Sakazuki didn't have time to react at all. The whole person was swept away by the tornado, spinning in midair. The tornado was very violent and blew far away. Please, Akainu Admiral, you are too naive to be careful. How can you be so careless? Luo Cheng crossed his chest with his arms and had no serious plans at all. If he was serious, he might be the same as Whitebeard, and he would completely blow up Sakazuki by accident. After all, his strength is quite pervert. In the storm, Sakazuki gritted his teeth, immediately covered his body with haki, and rushed out quickly. After landing, Sakazuki quickly stabilized his body, spread out his hands, and a huge mass of magma appeared in his palms. Meteor Volcano. As Sakazuki punched hard, the magma on both arms suddenly charged into the sky with a huge momentum. Then it scattered in the sky, falling like a meteor shower, covering the entire sky, blocking all the way out. Sakazuki wanted to use this cover to hit, and then grabbed the naval headquarters. Luo Cheng looked at the fire and rain in the sky, sneered in his heart, and still stood in place. The storm around him was getting bigger and bigger. I saw a sudden loud storm sound. The magma in the sky with the momentum of water sealing and destroying the ground was completely swept away by the storm. Before the magma approached Luo Cheng, it was swept aside by the storm, and a huge explosion sounded. A large amount of magma erupted, and the small half of the island instantly turned into a sea of fire, and the sky was filled with dazzling red light. But on the other side of the island, there was no fire at all, just a wild storm. The entire island is divided into 2 halves. The Marines in the distance were already stunned. It's scary. Is this the strength of Akainu Admiral? It's too pervert. It is indeed very pervert. Even Luo Cheng Vice Admiral is very powerful, and the magma of Akainu Admiral can't be touched at all. Straight among storms and lava. Luo Cheng and Sakazuki stood in their respective fields, looking at each other, without saying a word, with serious eyes and vigilant hearts. Sakazuki can be sure. Luo Cheng is not bad. Luo Cheng doesn't think Sakazuki is bad either. Although Sakazuki seems to be beaten violently in the anime, in the real One Piece world, Marine Admiral is very strong, and it is definitely not something that the 4 emperors can easily kill. If Jack and Huojin hadn't been careless, they wouldn't have been able to handle it so easily. Sakazuki moved suddenly and ran quickly towards Luo Cheng, his body covered in hot lava. Luo Cheng's speed was not slow, and immediately leapt into the air, opened one hand, and first hovered a huge wind blade. The wind blade had a whistling sound. Sakazuki, have a good time with you. Superstorm. When Luo Cheng waved his hand, there was a huge storm. The tornado roared and lifted the entire ground up, and countless trees were broken by the waste. The magma just released by Sakazuki was completely torn apart by the tornado before it could approach Luo Cheng. But Sakazuki didn't care. He accelerated his running speed, and in the blink of an eye, he jumped into the tornado, letting the tornado continue to hit his body. Sakazuki stepped on the ground, and a huge deep hole was stepped on the ground, and the whole person leapt in the air, breaking through the shackles of the tornado with powerful force. Luo Cheng, give me death. An angry Sakazuki let out a roar. A huge magma erupted, like a volcanic eruption. The hot magma illuminated half of the sky and blocked the sunlight in the sky. Luo Cheng looked red everywhere. But this magma is nothing to Luo Cheng at all. Luo Cheng jumped and immediately entered the magma, surrounded by the storm. No matter how frantic the magma was, it couldn't break through the protective shield formed by the storm. Sakazuki immediately ran towards Luo Cheng, quickly approached, and narrowed the distance between him and Luo Cheng. Dark Hound. Luo Cheng took 3 or 2 steps back, and also pulled in the distance between him and Sakazuki. Windblade. A huge green windblade burst out, cut through the ground instantly, and flew towards Sakazuki. Sakazuki's pupils shrank, and his body was quickly cut in half by the windblade. The windblade continued to fly into the distance, and wherever it passed, a huge ravine appeared, and it continued to spread. The gully has been rushing into the distance until it completely disappeared. But the power of the windblade is still very strong, running through the entire island, and flying to the sea in the distance, cutting the seawater. There was also a large ravine on the sea. This is the fruit of the storm that Luo Cheng has developed to the limit. With every gesture, it has the power to destroy the world. Moreover, the destructive power and cutting power of the windblade are not worse than the world's top swordsmen at all, and even surpass these top swordsmen. After Sakazuki's body was cut open, it instantly turned into lava, but quickly recovered. After recovering, Sakazuki looked ugly. The moment he was hit by Luo Cheng, if it wasn't for his quicker reaction, he would have been cut in half by Luo Cheng. Fortunately, the elementalization escaped in advance. Although he avoided it, it also made Sakazuki understand that Luo Cheng's strength is really strong, and he must not underestimate it. Sakazuki, let's continue. Luo Cheng ran quickly, rushed in front of Sakazuki, clenched his right hand into a fist, and suddenly a huge tornado appeared. The tornado raised a huge clod on the ground and slammed it down on Sakazuki. Sakazuki waved and punched. The lava penetrated the clod, then turned into a hound and rushed towards Luo Cheng. The moment it approached Luo Cheng, the magma hound suddenly grew bigger, especially its mouth, ready to engulf Luo Cheng in one bite. Luo Cheng sneered. A storm suddenly appeared in the palm of his hand, rushed out in a spiral, and instantly penetrated the magma. The moment the spiral storm pierced through the magma, it continued to grow, and soon the magma was torn apart, and the magma in Dalian was all over the place. Sakazuki jumped to Luo Cheng's side in 3 or 2 steps. The two sides fought fiercely again. The sky is full of storms and lava, and it runs through the entire island. This led to a raging fire on half of the island. The other half of the island was also full of severe storms. The battle between the two changed the weather on the island. This is the strength of the world's top powerhouse. Marine in the distance has long been stunned. They thought that Luo Cheng and Sakazuki would only fight a dozen at most, and they would restrain themselves. Who would have thought that these two would fight so hard? Every move is a surefire move, and I can't wait to slaughter the other party, as if there is a great hatred between the two. This. Akainu Admiral and Luo Cheng Vice Admiral seem to be fighting pretty hard. Should we report to Naval Headquarters? Yes, let's report it. If the killer is really hurt, we will have a hard time. A few Marines swallowed. It was hard to imagine how ruthless the two of them were. Okay, report to Naval Headquarters now. Marine who was watching did not hesitate, and immediately walked into the cabin, ready to report to Naval Headquarters. On the island, the battle between Luo Cheng and Sakazuki has completely turned into the day. However, with the passage of time, Luo Cheng has gradually gained the upper hand. As time goes by, Sakazuki will definitely fail. Sakazuki naturally noticed the abnormality and was very angry. but he could only grit his teeth and attack continuously, trying to find an opportunity and kill him with one blow. He didn't think he would lose to Luo Cheng. After all, he is also a Marine Admiral. If he loses to Luo Cheng, it would be too embarrassing. Great eruption. Sakazuki erupted, the magma on his body erupted instantly, and the roar resounded through the sky, making many Marines tremble. Luo Cheng took a step back, and at the moment when the magma erupted, he quickly jumped to the side, and just dodged to the side. Rumbling. Sakazuki thought he had the upper hand, ran forward quickly, came to Luo Cheng's side, and kicked down with one foot. Idiot. Luo Cheng sneered, stretched out a hand, and a storm appeared in the void. Just behind Luo Cheng, there is a sea. The storm swirled on the sea, stirring up a large amount of seawater, and then with a whistling sound, the tornado formed a majestic dragon. The dragon's body was accompanied by the seawater, opened its huge mouth, and quickly rushed towards Sakazuki, and let Sakazuki swallow it. Sakazuki's pupils shrank, and just as he was about to resist, his body touched the seawater, his legs were weak, and he almost fell to the ground. But as soon as he stabilized his body, Luo Cheng followed closely behind and appeared above Sakazuki, holding Sakazuki's head with one hand and pressing it hard on the ground. A large amount of seawater spewed out from the sea, slapped Sakazuki continuously, and swept Sakazuki away. Thump. Unable to resist, Sakazuki fell into the sea. Dead dog. Do you still dare to pull like this in the future? Luo Cheng smiled proudly, smiling brightly. After hours of fighting, he finally won. Naval Headquarters. Sengoku and Garp and others are going to the restaurant for dinner. But just halfway there, a Marine hurried over with a worried expression on his face. Marshal Sengoku, something is bad. Looking at Marine Rear Admiral in such a hurry, Sengoku felt a sense of unease in his heart. It must be a big deal to have Marine Rear Admiral in such a hurry. The Celestial Dragons were beaten, or the four emperors joined forces. Other than these two, Sengoku couldn't think of anything particularly urgent. Don't worry. Speak slowly. What happened? Crane Vice Admiral's expression was a little serious. Marshal Sengoku, Suru Vice Admiral, North Blue Base, and Akainu Admiral's warship just called at the same time call. Akainu Admiral and Luo Cheng Vice Admiral fought, and the fight seemed to be brutal, affecting the entire island, and both sides seemed to be endlessly dead. Marine Rear Admiral's face was a little flustered. Sengoku and the people next to him opened their mouths in surprise. What did they hear? Sakazuki and Luo Cheng got into a fight. And he fought endlessly. How much hatred this must be, and such a ruthless fight. How did the two of them fight? I didn't ask Sakazuki to bring Luo Cheng back. Why did this happen? Sengoku asked quickly. Next to Garp and Crane Vice Admiral is also a little anxious. These two are Marine's top masters. Once they fight, if there are casualties, it will be a huge loss for Marine. If you lose both, or die together. Sengoku was about to cry. He would have known that Sakazuki would not have asked Luo Cheng. I heard that Akainu Admiral said that Luo Cheng would be arrested and brought to Naval Headquarters for trial. Luo Cheng Vice Admiral thinks that Marine, who betrayed by Akainu Admiral, is a pirate's lackey and wants to arrest Akainu Admiral, and then they start a fight. Marine Rear Admiral was a little uneasy. He didn't expect that the two of them would fight because of such a reason. It's too nonsense. Sengoku was also stunned, for this reason. Luo Cheng is too nasty. Can't you just call me and let me know? Sakazuki too, did I ask him to arrest Luo Cheng? Sengoku is very angry right now. Sakazuki is unscrupulous and Luo Cheng is unscrupulous. These two guys are not good people. Can't you restrain yourself a little? A large-scale battle broke out directly. Okay, Sengoku, you shouldn't let Sakazuki go. The two of them have a good relationship. Suru Vice Admiral was also a little helpless. She was still worried, if Luo Cheng got Sakazuki injured, it would be over. Moreover, she still valued Luo Cheng very much, and hoped that Luo Cheng would become her brother-in-law, but she couldn't just die. Not even disabled. I'll make a phone call now and notify them immediately to stop the fight. Sengoku couldn't even bother to eat. The two had to be stopped from fighting quickly, and only by phone. If the ship is sailing, it will definitely be too late, and the battle may be over long ago. Several others followed behind Sengoku. They don't even care about eating anymore. As soon as Sengoku got back to the office, he made a phone call. On the other side, Luo Cheng picked up Sakazuki who had fallen into the sea, put sea-stone handcuffs on him, and threw it aside. Just as he was about to rest, the phone rang. Luo Cheng glanced at Sakazuki's adjutant, walked over immediately, and answered the phone. As soon as the call was connected, Sengoku's voice came out. Hurry up and inform Sakazuki and Luo Cheng, and tell them to stop fighting immediately, and say this is my order. Sakazuki felt a little shy. Sengoku's phone call came, and he was already captured by Luo Cheng, which was a shame. But Luo Cheng is just his junior. Luo Cheng raised his mouth slightly and lowered his voice. Marshal Sengoku, Sakazuki has been captured by me, and wants to redeem him. Give me 5 billion Bailey immediately. Sengoku on the opposite side froze for a moment. What did he hear? Sakazuki was actually caught, and the voice sounded familiar. Tsuruoka, who was beside him, was stunned. Sengoku quickly reacted, his face was a little strange, and he asked tentatively. Luo Cheng. Marshal Sengoku, you are too smart to recognize me at once, can't you be a little stupid? Luo Cheng was a little helpless, so he was recognized. Although he did not intend to blackmail Sengoku. Luo Cheng. Why are you? Where's Sakazuki? Sengoku probably guessed it, and his heart was particularly shocked. From the fight to the present, Luo Cheng had already ended the fight in an hour at most, and even had a good chance of defeating Sakazuki. It seems that Luo Cheng has the strength of the 4 emperors level. The other people in the room were also shocked. Did they think that the battle between Luo Cheng and Sakazuki was over and the victor was unexpected? Luo Cheng's mouth rose slightly. Marshal Sengoku, you must thank me well. I caught an undercover agent sent by a pirate, and his status is quite high. Sakazuki next to him turned black. He was an undercover agent sent by the pirates. Instead, he suspected that Luo Cheng was the pirate's undercover agent, otherwise it would be impossible to do so many outrageous things. Sengoku's face turned green, and he wanted to give Luo Cheng a big Buddha shockwave. Pirates undercover. I'm afraid it's Sakazuki. After defeating Sakazuki, he is still framing Sakazuki. Luo Cheng, stop kidding. Sakazuki is Marine's veteran admiral, how could he be a pirate's undercover agent? Sengoku couldn't help roaring out. If it's not the pirate's undercover, then it should be the Revolutionary Army's undercover, yes, that's it. Luo Cheng nodded seriously. With this expression, many Marines on the warship were speechless. I don't know why Luo Cheng is so thick-skinned. Sakazuki felt a little embarrassed, so he didn't say a word, bowed his head in silence. No matter what he says, it has nothing to do with him. He still believed in Sengoku. Sengoku certainly wouldn't doubt him. On the phone side, Sengoku's face was even more ugly. This is definitely a blatant slander, and many more. Luo Cheng must have killed Sakazuki, so he wanted to find an excuse, for example, Sakazuki was a pirate, or a revolutionary army. Luo Cheng, have you killed Sakazuki already? The faces of Crane Vice Admiral and Garp also changed. Although they don't like Sakazuki's absolute justice either, but Sakazuki is Marine Admiral and is very powerful. But that doesn't mean they watched Sakazuki get killed. Luo Cheng listened to Sengoku's words and glanced again, next to Sakazuki, who was still pretending to be dead, with a smile on his face. Marshal Sengoku, I'm so sorry, just now Sakazuki was killed by me accidentally during the battle with me. When speaking, Luo Cheng's tone was a little low. Sengoku's face was particularly ugly, and the faces of other Marine generals were not very good. Sakazuki just died. After all, it was Marine Admiral. Once it got out, it would definitely cause an uproar. If it is known that Marine killed it, it will definitely be ridiculed by the pirates. Sakazuki next to him couldn't take it anymore. Luo Cheng. What do you mean? Hearing Sakazuki's voice, Sengoku froze for a moment, but quickly reacted, gnashing his teeth in anger. Luo Cheng actually dared to deceive him with. The other Marine generals were also in tears. It turns out that Sakazuki is not dead, it's just Luo Cheng's nonsense. Luo Cheng, hurry up and let Sakazuki go, and also, this matter is over, I don't want you to continue fighting. Got it. I'll let Sakazuki go now. Luo Cheng didn't think much about it, and waved gently. Immediately, 2 Marines came over and released Sakazuki. Sakazuki took a deep look at Luo Cheng's back, turned around and left without saying anything. He also didn't plan to continue with Luo Cheng. After all, although he wasn't injured, he still had to obey Sengoku's orders. There is one more important reason, he wasn't sure enough to defeat Luo Cheng. Sakazuki left soon after, and Luo Cheng also returned to his warship and returned to Marine base. He has no plans to leave North Blue at present. He will wait until he has made a lot of money, and then strengthen a wave and leave North Blue. Otherwise, you won't earn anything, and you'll lose a lot. On the other hand, not long after Sengoku hung up, he suddenly remembered something and immediately called Luo Cheng. But this time, Luo Cheng hung up directly. Because Luo Cheng already knew Sengoku's purpose, he must have wanted him to leave North Blue. Will he leave North Blue? Just kidding, it's absolutely impossible to leave. How can I leave North Blue if I just got the harvest and haven't got the money yet? Sengoku heard the beeping on the other side of the phone, and his face was particularly ugly. This Luo Cheng actually hung up on my phone, it's too hateful. Garp snickered beside him. Sengoku was very upset at first, but when he heard Garp's smile, he felt even more upset and wished to slap him. Garp, you bastard. What nonsense. It's nothing, I still have things to do. I haven't eaten lunch yet, so I'll go now. Garp ran away immediately. Sengoku remembered again, he hadn't eaten yet, and his stomach was indeed a little hungry. Forget it. Luo Cheng won't come back, then let him stay in North Blue. Anyway, he's not too much, let's go eat first. The battle between Luo Cheng and Sakazuki is not known to others, nor is the kingdom of North Blue. After returning to the base, Luo Cheng's first thing was to ask people from those countries to offer sacrifices. These people have to hand over the money. If the money is not handed over as soon as possible, it may soon be transferred to naval headquarters before it is too late. Although the nobles were very unhappy, they had no choice but to bring Bailey to Marine Base. On this day, Marine Base was full of people. They were all nobles from various nearby kingdoms who came to send money specially, and they were also the kings of various kingdoms. Luo Cheng walked out of the office, looked at the nobles standing in 2 rows, the corners of his mouth were slightly raised, and he felt a sense of accomplishment in his heart. Once he was just an ordinary person, but now he has stood at the top of Marine, and even Marine Admiral Sakazuki has been defeated by him. These nobles, who were once out of reach, can only stand in front of her now, trembling, dedicating a portion of Bailey to seek his protection. Master Vice Admiral, I know that you have been working very hard during this time, and this is my honor to you. One of the nobles stood up and was particularly flattering, and the other nobles were like licking dogs. Damn. What are you talking about? Luo Cheng yelled loudly. The nobles were all frightened, trembling, their eyes were full of fear, and fear spread in their hearts. They don't know how they offended Luo Cheng, why Luo Cheng is so angry. Bastards, what do you mean? Does Lord Vice Admiral need your respect? All of this is because you saw that Marine was seriously injured, and you pity us Marine, so you gave it to us Marine. How could it be a tribute to Lord Vice Admiral? The new adjutant is very smart and knows what Luo Cheng is thinking. Luo Cheng also nodded. Yes, there are already many Marines in this world who are selfless, self-sacrificing, and dedicated to the people like me. Do I need your filial piety for such a good person? Am first such a Marine? I am a very good Marine, and I will never ask for your filial piety. What Luo Cheng said was righteous and awe-inspiring. However, no one present believed Luo Cheng, whether it was Marine or noble, they all complained about Luo Cheng in their hearts. What self-denial, selfless. None of this has anything to do with Luo Cheng. Lord Vice Admiral, what you said is very good. If everyone in this world is like you and selfless, how beautiful the world will be. One of the nobles immediately stepped forward. The other nobles also reacted and stepped forward at the same time, constantly flattering Luo Cheng. Say Luo Cheng is the only one in the world. In the face of these sycophants, Luo Cheng enjoys it all. You are right. Take your investment in Marine now, first I'm sure Marine will thank you. Luo Cheng's eyes were full of greed. There are dozens of kingdoms in the entire North Blue, and each of these kingdoms provides a lot of money. Today, he wants to strengthen the thunder-breathing technique to the full level at one time. Lord Vice Admiral, this is my support for Marine. Lord Vice Admiral, this is my support. The aristocrat immediately put down all the money, and then looked at Luo Cheng with some uneasiness, yelling in his heart. So much money, it's really a bit reluctant. Okay, your thoughts, our Marines have accepted them, and all the Marines will thank you. Luo Cheng smiled brightly and was very happy. He really wanted to sing a good day. Inside the office, all the money was moved here and filled the entire office. Luo Cheng looked at these boxes filled with Bailey, and his eyes lit up. Sure enough, the robbery went smoothly. East Blue is a small place in the end, and I didn't dare to mess around at the beginning, and it took only 4 years to get so little. Now the harvest is just over 2 months, which is comparable to the previous 4 years. Luo Cheng wanted to rob celestial dragons immediately, but finally restrained himself. He's not sure yet to take on the celestial dragons. System. How many billions of Bailey are there in total? Ding dong. A total of 2 billion Baileys. May I ask if they are all converted into attribute points? The sound of the system came. Luo Cheng had a big smile on his face. So much money, get rich all at once. System, give me everything. Luo Cheng suddenly stopped. Redeem me 7,000 attribute points first. As soon as the words fell, 1.4 billion Bailey was gone. Luo Cheng originally planned to exchange all of them, but after thinking about it carefully, the attribute points are useless after the thunder breathing technique is at full level. Maybe the system will be strengthened at that time. It's better to save some money first and use it later. As for swordsmanship, Luo Cheng has decided to give up. With the storm fruit, he is no less powerful than Daijinhao when he matches his sword chi. Maybe even Daijinhao is nothing more than that. On the system panel, 7,000 attribute points appeared in an instant, and all of them were added behind the thunder breath by Luo Cheng. Luo Cheng is still looking forward to this mysterious thunder breathing technique. Strengthened to the full level, the effect is definitely obvious. System, strengthen thunder breathing, directly strengthen me to full level. Luo Cheng couldn't wait in his heart. Just after speaking, Luo Cheng's breathing changed again, and between each breath, there was a lot of thunder. A streak of blue lightning flashed in Luo Cheng's body, but it didn't hurt Luo Cheng. Luo Cheng didn't even feel it at all. Lightning entered Luo Cheng's body along Luo Cheng's nose, constantly stimulating Luo Cheng's blood, bones and so on. At the same time, the originally clear sky was suddenly covered with dark clouds, lightning and thunder, and a large number of thunder and lightning circled in the sky. Rumbling. A huge thunder and lightning roar sounded. A dazzling blue thunderlight fell from the sky and hit Luo Cheng's office from the front. But unexpectedly, Luo Cheng's office was not destroyed, and there was no lightning explosion. The instant the thunder and lightning hit the ground, it disappeared. All around Marine were stunned. There was more than enough lightning to bomb Marine base, let alone them. These lightning bolts are really scary, but why is there nothing at all? I don't know, it may be that Lord Vice Admiral is too powerful. After all, even a Kainu Admiral is no match for Lord Vice Admiral. Inside the room, all the thunderbolts that fell from the sky were sucked into Luo Cheng's body, constantly strengthening Luo Cheng's meridian bones. With the strengthening, Luo Cheng's strength became stronger and stronger, and his physique became stronger and stronger. Although Luo Cheng has been strengthened to full level, but the strengthening of thunder breathing made Luo Cheng stronger and stronger. If we talk about Luo Cheng before, his strength is at the ceiling level. Now Luo Cheng, the house has been expanded, and the ceiling is constantly raised. It wasn't obvious, but it did get stronger. Luo Cheng's body gathered a large amount of lightning, which spread all over the heart, and then flowed around the whole body from the heart. Thunder breathing method can not only generate thunder and lightning between breaths, but also with strengthening, you can finally control thunder. This is similar to thunder fruit. Luo Cheng's heart is the source of power, constantly releasing thunder and lightning, and can even summon thunder and lightning out of thin air. After a long time, the sky finally calmed down, and the thunder and lightning that kept hitting it disappeared. The lightning in Luo Cheng's body was also silent. Name. Luo Cheng Physical, 10,000 Hockey, 10,000. Swordsmanship. 6,000 Storm Fruit, 10,000 Lei Yan Suction Method, 10,000. Now you have become stronger, although the attribute panel has not changed, but the strength has become weaker. Luo Cheng looked at the system panel. The systematic review has changed again. His attributes are still 10,000 points, but his strength has exceeded 10,000 points, but it is not very obvious. Luo Cheng stretched out his hand, and with a thought, he first summoned a thunderbolt out of thin air, flickering continuously, and even making a crackling sound. The heart is beating constantly. A wisp of blue electric current flows out from the inside of the heart and spreads all over the body, constantly strengthening the blood in the body. Luo Cheng clearly felt the change in his heart. As expected of the thunder breathing technique, if I hadn't known that I had traveled to the world of One Piece, I would still have me in the fantasy world. The full-level thunder breathing technique is not comparable to the fantasy world, but in this world, it is enough fantasy. However, only lightning can be released from the heart, which is not particularly powerful. What is really powerful is that it can summon thunder and lightning out of thin air, and it is very powerful. Luo Cheng's heart moved, and the lightning in his palm instantly formed a huge thunder dragon, circling around Luo Cheng. Thunder dragon constantly flashes, it looks very powerful, and its destructive power is also amazing. It's a pity that this is his marine base, so we can't experiment here. But it doesn't matter, he can find a place to experiment. Luo Cheng tidied up a little, and then looked at the money on the ground. After leaving the office, Luo Cheng looked around at the Marines. There are still a lot of Baileys in my office, you go and get 100 million Baileys and divide them equally among all the Marines. As for the officers, a little more. For his subordinates, Luo Cheng is very stingy, but sometimes he is generous. Anyway, it's his subordinates. And there is so much money in Sky Island, and there is some hidden in Buggy, which should be enough for later use. Thank you, Lord Vice Admiral. Immediately a few Marines entered the office. The other Marines were also particularly excited. Sure enough, corruption is better. Follow Luo Cheng for meat. Poor Marines, Luo Cheng excavated the dark side of their hearts. After leaving the office, Luo Cheng sneaked to the back of Marine Base by himself. He was going to test the power of thunder breathing, and what kind of difference was there compared to thunder fruit. Behind Marine Base is a forest. Besides, there are a lot of Uzumaki at the back of Marine Base, usually few pirate ships can pass through here. So the defensive power here is not very high. However, in order to prevent pirates from entering by mistake, or someone passing through here, there is also a certain defense here. After Luo Cheng came, he sent all the Marines guarding the place away, leaving no Marine behind. Because the next thing cannot be found, he does not intend to let other people know about the lightning strike in a short period of time, how long he can hide it. Standing on the coast, Luo Cheng looked out at the sea in the distance, stretched out a hand, and a thunderbolt appeared in the palm of his hand. Rumbling. The thunder and lightning quickly formed a huge thunder dragon, whistled, rushed towards the sea in the distance, and crashed into the sea. The moment the thunder dragon slammed into the sea, it exploded, directly causing a huge airflow and setting off huge waves. A dazzling light erupted on the sea, setting off a huge mushroom cloud, constantly boiling and beating the waves. The seawater fell on Luo Cheng's body and completely wet Luo Cheng's clothes. The dazzling blue light gradually dissipated, and a huge deep pit appeared on the sea surface, which was dozens of meters wide. There are many fish floating in the deep pit, and there is also a trace of meat fragrance. This is the power of thunder breathing. Between the gestures, there is the destructive power of destroying the sky and destroying the earth. Luo Cheng's eyes were filled with joy. He didn't show all his strength just now, but the shock wave generated by the explosion was no worse than the power of Sakazuki's magma. Even burst out in full force, definitely surpassing Sakazuki. He is saying that there is another devil fruit, and it can even be said that it is much better than devil fruit. Luo Cheng opened his hand, and a hurricane appeared in his palm. The hurricane was surrounded by thunder and lightning, and it made a crackling sound. The hurricane is getting bigger and the thunder and lightning are getting louder. Even the wind is full of lightning. Sure enough. Luo Cheng probably guessed that thunderbolt could be used with storm fruit, so he gave it a try. Unexpectedly, the power is not bad, and the effect is also obvious. This hurricane is not only powerful, but also the power of lightning. Storms and thunder and lightning are intertwined, more pervert. Luo Cheng focused his attention on the system again, frowned slightly, and was a little curious. At present, except for swordsmanship, all Luo Cheng's abilities have been strengthened to full level, and he cannot continue to strengthen them. If the system cannot be changed, it cannot continue. Luo Cheng just struggled for a while, and didn't think much about it. Although he couldn't continue to strengthen it, don't worry. Anyway, there will be time later. He is strong enough now that even Sakazuki is no match for him. Even the 4 emperors of the New World should not be able to do anything to him, and there will be nothing in a short period of time. Luo Cheng took the revolving Heaven Kong Yun sword, placed it on his back, and swooped into the woods. Not long after, Luo Cheng returned to the office. Many Marines noticed that Luo Cheng was refreshed, looked very happy, and seemed to be doing something good. Back at the office, Luo Cheng put away all the money and did not plan to use it for the time being. He will use the money when he has a chance in the future. Lord Vice Admiral, it's time for lunch. The adjutant stood outside the door, particularly flattering. Luo Cheng touched his stomach, he was really hungry, it was time to eat. Okay. Let's go to dinner together. At the restaurant, Luo Cheng sat alone at one table, while Marines sat at other tables. Lord Vice Admiral, we toast you and thank you for taking care of us, you are definitely the best Marine in the world. A certain Marine general stood up and raised his glass with admiration in his eyes. The other Marines stood up at the same time and toasted Luo Cheng. Luo Cheng also raised his glass. Then thank you, you can rest assured that as long as I have a bite to eat, you will definitely have a bite to eat. Let us work together for Marine in the future. Marine was speechless. What is called working for the Marine? They don't think Luo Cheng is the kind of Marine who sacrifices himself for others, purely for himself. A very selfish person. However, this selfish person is also quite nice. They just like an excellent Marine like Luo Cheng. Because money is really sweet. Justice or something is of no use at all. On the other side, the nobles all went back. Maybe money, they began to squeeze those ordinary civilians again, and people were panicked for a while. Civilians in some countries are planning revolutions. When it comes to revolution, the Revolutionary Army is naturally indispensable. The leader of the Revolutionary Army, Monkey D. Dragon, is in this sea area, not only planning the revolution, but also wanting to let the Revolutionary Army spread throughout the 4 seas. In this way, more people who want the revolution can be drawn. In a certain kingdom, the new king has just looted a large sum of money, so that ordinary commoners do not have enough money to eat. Many even plan to sell their sons and daughters. In a certain corner of this royal capital, the Monkey D. Dragon stood on a tall building, looking at the kingdom in front of him, and his heart was very peaceful. There were many people standing beside him. They are all cadres of the Revolutionary Army. Dragon, look at this country, and you are looting ordinary civilians. These nobles should be damned. Shemale King Ivankov's eyes were full of anger. Other Revolutionary Army cadres were also very angry. The Monkey D. Dragon's expression is also a little gloomy. Indeed, nobility is the cancer of this world, so we should eliminate nobility and build a world cabinet without nobility. The eyes of the nearby Revolutionary Army were also full of expectations. They gathered together to overthrow the rule of the nobility and establish a world without oppression. This world is not very far away. By the way, Ivankov, you go to investigate and see what happened recently, why the kingdoms of North Blue are exploiting civilians. Asked the Monkey D. Dragon suddenly. I understand, I will investigate, and there should be results tonight. Ivankov nodded and disappeared without a sound. Several other people from the Revolutionary Army also followed behind and went to investigate together, but the Monkey D. Dragon was still standing by the window, looking into the distance. That night, Ivankov made an investigation and returned to the place agreed by the Revolutionary Army, telling Monkey D. Dragon all the recent events. We have already investigated clearly. These nobles were robbed by pirates not long ago, so they need to replenish funds. Besides that, when the naval headquarters vice admiral came, he forced them to donate a lot of money to eliminate the pirates. The Revolutionary Army was a little indignant. Monkey Dragon's face is not very good. Although first knew that Marine had a lot of scum, I didn't expect that such a hateful and upright blackmailing of the nobles would end up being the unlucky civilians. His exit from Marine was the right choice. We can't continue like this. It is said that Marine is the inspector of the entire North Blue. If he continues to stay in the North Blue, it will definitely be a misfortune for the entire North Blue. Ivankov said with awe. Other revolutionary troops also had some expectations in their hearts. Monkey Dragon's eyes flickered, and he was thinking in his heart what to do next. Maybe it's time to let more people know about the Revolutionary Army, and the whole North Blue is the most suitable right now. As long as the people of North Blue know about the Revolutionary Army, their Revolutionary Army will develop rapidly in the future, and finally even be able to overthrow the world government. There was longing in the eyes of the Monkey D. Dragon. Well, let's take down this Marine first, and for the sake of the revolution, take down Luo, hit those evil Marines hard, and promote the reputation of our Revolutionary Army. No problem. Then let's take action against Luo Cheng and find a way to destroy this evil Marine first. People in the Revolutionary Army cheered a little. They can even imagine that for a while, the entire North Blue will be filled with the shadow of their Revolutionary Army. Luo Cheng didn't know that the Revolutionary Army had already planned to attack him, and he was still resting in the office leisurely. Go out for a walk every 3 to 5, see if you can rob a wave of pirates, and then let yourself get rich. On this day, Luo Cheng was wandering outside, and the Marine warship was moving slowly. While Luo Cheng was resting, the warships of the Revolutionary Army approached from all around and surrounded Luo Cheng's warships. Marine naturally found anomalies as well. Lord Vice Admiral, we are surrounded. Calm down, don't worry, there's absolutely no danger, it's probably some brainless pirates, such pirates happen every day. Luo Cheng is quite calm. Suddenly, a gust of wind came. The sky was covered with dark clouds, and lightning flashed. The breeze became stronger, and soon bursts of gusts were set off, and it was constantly whistling, and the sound of the sentences roaring. Luo Cheng opened his eyes immediately, his expression a little serious. Get ready for battle. At first, Luo Cheng thought he was an ordinary pirate, but seeing such a powerful storm, he knew that he was definitely not an ordinary person. Luo Cheng walked to the side of the warship, looked into the distance, and saw that the warships were gradually approaching. The Qinglong flag was hung on the warships, and in front of one of the warships stood a man Luo Cheng knew. Revolutionary Army. Luo Cheng recognized the Monkey D Dragon at a glance. He was very puzzled now, why the Monkey D Dragon thought of attacking him, and there seemed to be no contradiction between the two sides. The only contradiction is that Luo Cheng betrayed the Monkey D Dragon, and the Monkey D Dragon was hunted down by Garp. But the Monkey D Dragon should have no idea. Notify Naval Headquarters, and in addition, let the nearby Marines come to support immediately, saying that the Revolutionary Army is encountered, and then let the world government come to support. Luo Cheng clenched his hands, ready to fight at any time. He is not afraid of the Revolutionary Army, even if it is a Monkey D Dragon, he is confident enough to defeat it. It's a pity that there are too many people in the Revolutionary Army. There are Monkey D Long himself, and the Shemale King Ivankov, and the remaining few Luo Cheng do not know, but some are familiar. Should be several commanders of the Revolutionary Army. This is too worthy of him. Even if he wants to do something to him, the Monkey D Dragon will only come here alone, actually brought so many people here. The warship of the Revolutionary Army was slowly approaching, but Monkey D Long did not rush to make a move, just stared at Luo Cheng. Such a young Marine should have an infinitely bright future, but unfortunately it was corrupted by money. Monkey D Long shook his head, feeling sorry for Luo Cheng. Such a crowded boy turned into a bad guy. Ivankov had a smile on his face. Dragon, or give this guy to me. Let me turn him into a shemale, and train him well in the future. The voices of the two of them were not small, and they were completely heard by Luo Cheng. Luo Cheng's face turned green. These two bastards are so arrogant. What is corrupted by money? Obviously he corrupted the money. And that damned shemale, who actually planned to turn him into a shemale, didn't fix Ivankov, and I was very upset. Luo Cheng opened his hand, and it was a huge storm that stirred up a lot of seawater and formed huge waves, which shot down on the ships of the Revolutionary Army. Sure enough, it is the fruit of the storm. I didn't expect you to be the power of the wind, but I am also the power of the wind. Monkey D Long was not too surprised. As the leader of the Revolutionary Army, of course, he was well aware of the investigation and knew Luo Cheng's ability. Just a little surprised. He actually has the same ability as him. However, he is more than just wind. The Monkey D Dragon's heart moved, and a huge storm also appeared, which directly blew the waves away. Rumbling. A loud thunder sounded. I saw a huge thunder falling from the sky, and the target was Luo Cheng. Luo Cheng knew about Monkey D Dragon's abilities for a long time, so he wasn't too surprised. At the moment Lei Ting fell, Luo Cheng took a breath, and Lei Ting was sucked away by Luo Cheng directly. This is Luo Cheng's thunder breathing. Although Monkey D Dragon's thunder power is very powerful, its destructive power is particularly amazing, but for Luo Cheng's thunder breath method, it is just a nourishment. The moment the thunderbolt was inhaled into Luo Cheng's body, it was quickly decomposed by Luo Cheng's thunderous breathing method, and then traveled around the body to strengthen the body. It can be said that lightning is his experience value. Monkey Dragon's pupils shrank, his eyes filled with disbelief. It's impossible. How could you be so powerful that you can resist my lightning? Other Revolutionary Army cadres were also shocked. Luo Cheng actually carried the Monkey D Dragon's thunder and lightning, and he didn't have anything at all, which was really shocking. In this world, nothing is impossible. Since you want to do something to me, don't blame me for being rude. Naval Headquarters. Sengoku had just finished eating when a Marine hurried in with panic in his eyes. Marshal Sengoku, it's not good. Luo Cheng Vice Admiral just finished the phone call. They were surrounded by the Revolutionary Army. I hope we will send someone to support them immediately. What? Revolutionary Army. Sengoku's face turned green. The Revolutionary Army surrounded Luo Cheng. The purpose must be to destroy Luo Cheng, certainly not to invite Luo Cheng to dinner. He felt that Luo Cheng was unlucky, and unexpectedly encountered the Revolutionary Army. Garp next to him was particularly embarrassed, and immediately lowered his head without saying a word. Sengoku gave Garp a vicious look. Others don't know, can he not know? The leader of the Revolutionary Army was Garp's son. Crane Vice Admiral also glared at Garp. The Revolutionary Army attacked those she recognized. That was her future secretary, and the Monkey D. Dragons were going too far, and now he's doing something to them Marine. Too reckless. Sengoku, I think we need to find a way to save Luo Cheng first, and talk about other things later. Garp felt that the atmosphere was a little weird, and immediately pulled the topic away, since he couldn't let Sengoku continue talking anyway. Sengoku thought about it carefully, and now the most important thing is not to hold Garp accountable. Instead, we should find a way to help Luo Cheng, but we must not let Luo Cheng be solved by the Revolutionary Army. Let's go and inform the people in the world now, and see if there are still people in the world government. Be sure to help Luo Cheng. Sengoku hurriedly picked up the phone and was about to find people all over the world for help, but Luo Cheng couldn't be allowed to have an accident. At this moment, the battle between North Blue, Luo Cheng and Monkey D. Dragon has just begun, and it has entered the most intense stage. On the sea, the Monkey D. Dragon jumped into the air first, opened his hands, and the endless storm blew towards Luo Cheng. But before these storms approached Luo Cheng, they had completely disappeared. After all, Luo Cheng is also good at controlling storms. Dragon's Claw. The Monkey D. Dragon jumped to Luo Cheng's side, opened his right hand to form a dragon's claw, the dark hockey covered his arm, and then grabbed Luo Cheng fiercely. The moment he grabbed it hard, the space was torn apart by the Monkey D. Dragon, and the dragon's claws grabbed Luo Cheng's head. Luo Cheng sneered, with playfulness in his eyes. Although the Monkey D. Dragon is powerful, it is still slightly worse than him, and its background is not good. Shemale Fist. Ivankov suddenly appeared behind Luo Cheng. Two hands kept bombarding. The speed of both hands was extremely fast, and there were only shadows of fists in the air. There was a sound of explosion in the void. Although Luo Cheng turned his back to Ivankov, he could feel Ivankov's movements. The moment Ivankov made his move, Luo Cheng quickly retreated to one side, widening the distance between him and Ivankov. The Monkey D. Dragon immediately chased behind Luo Cheng. Of course Luo Cheng couldn't escape so easily. Luo Cheng Vice Admiral, aren't you very good? There is a kind of a staying to fight, there is no need to run away. Ivankov smiled, his face very big. The Monkey D. Dragon also had a smile on his face. He felt that if so many people besieged Luo Cheng, he should be able to take Luo Cheng down. Who let Luo Cheng be the demon fruit power, above this sea, surrounded by them, is basically a winning situation. Luo Cheng looked at Ivankov who was running over with disgust in his eyes. Fight after fight, can you two stay away from me? Especially you, you are so ugly, can you not come out and pollute the air? The Monkey D. Dragon is okay. Ivankov is particularly ugly. A she-male should be the same as a she-male, and it should be a little more beautiful. Such an ugly she-male is simply a shame for a she-male. Luo Cheng, you are really annoying, you are just a proper scum. Ivankov was a little angry. He felt that he was being humiliated by Luo Cheng. Don't be so nonsense, take him down first. Monkey Long gave a cold drink and immediately jumped in front of Luo Cheng, then raised a hand and hit Luo Cheng hard. There was an explosion in the space. A pitch-black fist hit Luo Cheng. Luo Cheng's response was not slow, he immediately raised his hand, and without fear, he threw a punch, which just hit Monkey D. Dragon's fist. The fists of the two exploded, and the powerful impact burst out, constantly hitting the ship, causing the ship to shake violently. Monkey's face changed instantly, because at this moment, he felt Luo Cheng's power. This power is so vast that even he is slightly inferior. He is so powerful, but he is just an ordinary Marine Vice Admiral, shouldn't he be Marine Admiral? Long, let me help you. When a young girl suddenly jumped behind, Ge couldn't help but glance at her, because she was beautiful. Maybe not as good as Guion and the others, but she is also a beauty. The most important thing is that she has a particularly hot body and is quite eye-catching. Beauty. Are you also a Revolutionary Army? I didn't expect the Revolutionary Army to be so miserable that you can't even wear clothes. Why don't you tell my brother, please wear new clothes? Of course this girl was Bello Beatty. He is also a commander of the Revolutionary Army in the original book. That woman in a very hot dress. The code name seems to be Umekawa. Luo Cheng felt that as long as he exerted a little force, the wind became stronger, and he could see good things. Bello Betty noticed Luo Cheng's eyes, felt a little angry, looked very upset, and always felt that he was being trampled on. Mr. Long, you must teach this guy a lesson, and don't let him go. Don't worry, today is the death of this marine demon. Monkeyed dragon eyes also have murderous intent. Not only because Luo Cheng is not a good person, but because Luo Cheng actually makes fun of their revolutionary army. Facing the attack of Monkey D. Long and Ivankov, Luo Cheng quickly stepped aside and opened the distance between him and Ivankov. I am really thinking of you. Why did you kill me? Especially beautiful you, I have a lot of feelings for you. If you want to take care of you, you reject me. Luo Cheng showed a regretful expression. This expression made Bello Betty very unhappy, raised a hand, and was ready to continue. The Monkey D. Dragon also drew closer, and Ivankov appeared beside him. The battle is getting more and more intense. On the sea, there were violent storms. Under this torrential rain, the ship shook violently, tossed and swayed, and the waves beat layer by layer, as if to engulf the entire ship. But no matter how bumpy these ships were, Luo Cheng, Monkey D. Long and others still stood firm and were not affected in any way. Even the two can fight fiercely. Dragon's Claw. New Shemale Boxing. Monkeyed Long and Ivankov jumped behind Luo Cheng at the same time and started together. The entire space was shattered, making a strong sound. Luo Cheng faced the siege of several people, his face did not waver. If you want to defeat him, even if it is two people, it is not so easy. If it is not possible, he retreats desperately. Luo Cheng still doesn't believe these two can solve him. Facing the two people who were close to him, Luo Cheng didn't think much of it. He turned around quickly, clenched his hands into fists, and raised his hands to slam at Ivankov. The space was shattered by Luo Cheng. Ivankov looked at Luo Cheng, who was very violent in front of him. Although he was afraid, he didn't think much about it. He still gritted his teeth and punched him down. The two fists collided. There was a burst of thunder in the void. The ship made a huge roar, and the sea also made an explosion. Ivankov felt Luo Cheng's powerful strength. His face changed instantly, his arm was a little painful, and his body subconsciously took 2 steps back. What a powerful force, obviously just a young man. Why is it so powerful? He couldn't imagine that Luo Cheng was so young, but his strength was so pervert that even he couldn't bear it. Ivankov, be careful yourself. Monkeyed Long specially emphasized one sentence, then quickly appeared behind Luo Cheng and grabbed it with his right hand. Luo Cheng didn't care to say anything. He turned around and raised a hand, hitting the Monkey D. Dragon's arm mercilessly. In the distance, the Revolutionary Army and Marine had no interest at all, and the attention of both sides was focused on Luo Cheng. Many revolutionary troops were shocked by Luo Cheng's strength and couldn't imagine it in their hearts. I didn't expect a small Marine Vice Admiral to be so powerful. Yeah, how can it be so powerful? At the same time, not far from the battlefield, a ship is gradually. Several men in black suits, white capes and masks were standing on the boat. These people are not ordinary people. They are all members of the World Government Secret Intelligence Organization (CPO), and they are also the strongest special organization. As the main members of CPU, their strength is much stronger than CP9, and can even fight against Admiral. After receiving the news from Naval Headquarters, the World Government immediately sent CPO to support Luo Cheng. That is, Luo Cheng is lucky, and the CPO happens to be nearby. Luo Cheng and Monkey D. Dragon fought for a long time. Just as Luo Cheng was about to retreat, the World Government's ship finally appeared. Ships slashed and attacked, and soon broke through the defense line of the Revolutionary Army, and the war broke out at the first time. How is that possible? Why are the people of the World Government here? Monkeyed Dragon's face became ugly when he saw the sudden appearance of the World Government's ship. The battle between him and Luo Cheng had just gained a tiny bit of an advantage when the World Government came, which meant that he had no chance. If the fight continues, members of the World Government and Marine will come, and it will be too late to leave. Their revolutionary army is not qualified to completely turn against the World Government, at least not now. The Monkey D. Dragon quickly stormed in his mind, ready to make a decision in his heart, whether to continue the fight or retreat quickly. But just as Monkey D. Long was thinking, Luo Cheng quickly retreated and returned to his warship. Send the order, and retreat now. The Marines were a little stunned. Did you just retreat? All the people from the World Government have come, and they should not join forces with the World Government and then completely wipe out the Revolutionary Army. But since it was Luo Cheng's order, they could only execute Luo Cheng's order. The Marine warship quickly turned around, broke through the shackles of the Revolutionary Army, and quickly left the battlefield. People from the world government in the distance were dumbfounded. They came to save Luo Cheng. Now, Luo Cheng left them behind. This is a little too much, quite too much. Damn, these guys Marine actually ran away. Be sure to report 5 elders when you go back. Several members of the CPO were very angry, but there was nothing they could do. Luo Cheng had all run away, so they couldn't stay to face the Revolutionary Army. Even if you can defeat it, you may not be able to catch it. The order goes on and the whole army retreats. The world government eventually withdrew, too. No way, Luo F just ran away. The people of the Revolutionary Army were also stunned. They were still thinking about retreating, and Luo Cheng and the world government retreated. 2 people should not unite together, and then attack him together, and finally solve their Revolutionary Army completely. Their Revolutionary Army escaped dangerously. This is not common sense. But the world government ran away, Luo Cheng also ran away, they couldn't chase and kill 2 people, and finally the Monkey D Dragon had to retreat. Marine warships. Luo Cheng rarely enjoys the time of rest, closes his eyes, feels the breeze blowing, and feels very happy inside. But the pleasure was soon interrupted by Marine's men. A Marine came over and looked at Luo Cheng cautiously. Master Vice Admiral, Marshal Sengoku just called and scolded us for retreating, and he also left the world government behind. You go and tell Marshal Sengoku that I'm injured, so I can't continue the fight, so only can retreat. Luo Cheng made a random excuse. Anyway, there's no need to take CPI seriously. The big deal is to be reprimanded. Anyway, he is thick-skinned and has nothing to do. The Marines twitched at the corners of their mouths. Looking at Luo Cheng's enjoyment, it doesn't look like he's hurt at all, he's clearly making excuses. But who let Luo Cheng be Marine Vice Admiral? The Marines could only helplessly leave. Marshal Sengoku was very speechless when he heard Luo Cheng's reply. He just can't deal with thick-skinned people. Both Luo Cheng and Garp are shameless and never listen to him, but both of them are very strong, and he cannot do without them. In the end, Sengoku could just let it go. In the following period, Luo Cheng did not leave North Blue, and the Revolutionary Army did not attack Luo Cheng. The 2 sides seem to have become very peaceful. As for why the Revolutionary Army did not attack Luo Cheng is not very clear, and it is probably Garp's credit. But that has nothing to do with him either. He likes such a peaceful life, and he lives a carefree and happy life every day. But this calm did not last long. On this day, the Holy Land Marie Joys held the World Summit, and almost all the nobles were here. The nobles of North Blue are naturally here too. These North Blue nobles wanted the world government to solve Luo Cheng and relieve their pain, but none of them dared to speak up. You can only take it all in your heart. I think it's time to discuss the matter of North Blue's Chief Inspector Luo Cheng. This guy has done all kinds of evil, so he should be dealt with. A certain world government official said suddenly. The nobles of North Blue were about to cry, and it was so exciting to wait until someone brought it up. They have long wanted to solve the 29th match Luo Cheng, but they never had the chance and dared not say it. I didn't expect that someone would be so good, and they would take the initiative to say it. They could even imagine the scene where Luo Cheng was solved. Maybe it's been negotiated. This official has just proposed it, and it has almost won the consent of the vast majority of nobles. Certainly. It is impossible for Marine to solve Luo Cheng, they just want to punish Luo Cheng and teach Luo Cheng a lesson. The nobles of North Blue also reluctantly agreed. In the end, the world government made a decision. It is impossible to eliminate Luo Cheng, but it is possible to transfer Luo Cheng from North Blue without disturbing these world government countries. After all, Luo Cheng charges and touches the interests of many people. Even the world government cannot tolerate it. Therefore, Luo Cheng could only be kicked out. Naval Headquarters. After Sengoku received the news, he was quite helpless, but there was nothing he could do. He also wanted Luo Cheng to come back, but Luo Cheng had the cheek to not come back. The other Marines in the office were also helpless. Marshal Sengoku, why don't you send someone to bring Luo Cheng back in person? Crane Vice Admiral said this, he felt very strange. He was clearly a Marine, and Sengoku was a Marshal, but he had no way to order Luo Cheng as a Marine Vice Admiral. But Luo Cheng's strength is particularly strong, able to fight Kaido of the Beasts and defeat Sakazuki, they can't give up. Plus Luo Cheng is not too much, so Marine can tolerate Luo Cheng. If Luo Cheng goes too far, burns, kills, loots, and commits all evils, Marine might not be able to tolerate it. Garp, you go there in person, and finally find a way to bring Luo Cheng back. Sengoku said helplessly. Understood. Garp was also a little helpless. This was the first time he wanted to invite Marine back, but it was too much to let him go directly. But Sengoku looked at him eagerly, and he couldn't refuse, and in the end he could only agree. A month later, North Blue Base. Luo Cheng looked at Garp in front of him, a little helpless. Do I have such a high face? Don't you need me to come back to Naval Headquarters in person? Garp rolled his eyes. Luo Cheng, why are you so embarrassed to say it? Sengoku asked you to go back many times, but you all made excuses to refuse, and even hung up the phone deliberately, pretending that the signal was not good. Luo Cheng also remembered, a little embarrassed. He seems to have actually rejected Sengoku many times. But it doesn't matter, he is thick-skinned. Oh, I really don't want to go back, or you don't let me go back. Let me rest here for a few days, and I will go back when I have time. Luo Cheng looked at Garp eagerly. Such a feng shui treasure, absolutely cannot go back. Rather than go back, take a break here. Don't think too much, Sengoku has already said, this time you have to go back, or I will take you back myself. Luo Cheng saw that Garp's eyes were so firm, and he knew that he couldn't refuse. He was very sorry. Then don't wait for me for a few more days. These nobles have promised us various subsidies for Marine, and they will be sent back soon. Garp almost didn't get pissed off. At this time, I am still thinking about the protection fee. Stop kidding. Do you think Sengoku would agree? Also, you charged so much protection money, Marine didn't get a dime, it's all yours. Tell me, what have you done over the years? Extortion, protection fees, corruption, no wonder you North Blue need so much military spending every year. Garp couldn't help roaring. Luo Cheng rubbed his ears, suddenly Garp, completely heart. He's thick-skinned anyway. Garp growled for a while, then suddenly remembered something very serious. Wait, I remembered, for so many years, the cost of catching pirates you applied for is relatively high, you should not be caught by yourself, let someone else claim it. There is a type of people in this world called bounty hunters. They'll go catch the pirates, and then ask Marine for a bounty. Because of its ability to deal a heavy blow to pirates, both Marine and world government have acquiesced in bounty hunters. The original North Blue is very common, and it may not be able to catch many pirates in a year. But since Luo Cheng took office, the bounty hunters seem to have become fiercer, catching a large number of pirates every month, causing the cost to skyrocket. Now he seriously suspects that Luo Cheng did all this for the purpose of making money. Luo Cheng's face stiffened, because he did all this, and those pirates were also caught by him. Most of these pirates' bounty went into his pocket, but he didn't expect to be seen through by Garp, an idiot. Garp noticed Luo Cheng's eyes, his face darkened, and he immediately realized that Luo Cheng actually did this. Luo Cheng, you are really good enough. Ha ha ha. Let's not talk about that much. Let's talk about another thing. Your son wants to kill me. How can this be done? Luo Cheng immediately changed the subject. This time, it was Garp's turn to be embarrassed. His eyes were erratic, and his expression was not calm. He still recognizes Luo Cheng. As a result, his son Monkey D. Long actually chased and killed Luo Cheng, causing him to be scolded by Garp. This. Not much to say, in short, you better pack up, we'll go to Naval Headquarters right away, speed up, don't waste too much time. Garp immediately turned to leave.